Come on. It's Fastbreaks. Listen. We back with another one.
Fast breaks, yeah, we coming with the takes. Never early, never late, but we always push the pace, yeah. And we really study tape, y'all just view the highlights. Man, we really watching games, yeah. You just watch from the stands. We run 3-man weeks, Paul, Trey, and Allen, yeah. Way more than a fan. We got love for the game. We don't have to pretend. Got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. I'm the run the fast break. Throw me the outlet. Yeah, we got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. Time to run the fast break. Throw me the outlet. We on the break. It's fast break. We on the break. It's fast break. Let's go.
Just watch from the stands. We run 3-man weeds, ball drinking Island. Yeah. You just watch from the. You just watch from the stands. We run 3-man weeds, ball drinking Island. Yeah. Fast breaks, yeah, we coming with the takes. Never early, never late.
It's fast break. Let's go.
Yeah. What up, party?
Yeah.
Yo.
Damn, it feels good to be a fast break. I know you missed us. You haven't seen these four faces on the screen in quite some time. We are back, and we are here to provide you season 2 finale. First time listeners, last time listeners, thank you for rocking with us for another season. We are grateful for the growth we've experienced. Grateful for those of y'all that have been rocking with us. Grateful for those of y'all that have jumped on the bandwagon. I'm telling you, now is the time to get down. You're going to want to tell your friends that you've been watching Fast Break since 2024. You've been watching Fast Break since 2023. And you know what? If you're logged in right now today watching us, you get to tell your friends you've been watching Fast Break since 2025. All right. But after this, where we go next season, when we start moving different,
it's clipped.
You're newbie. But we welcome you anyway. We love you anyway.
Hey, hold on.
Just casuals.
We
accept those. We accept those.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Y'all, please come get down. Come get down for sure.
Paul's not on that. Paul's.
We got a lot in the works. Let me just. Can I
just know your place? That's all.
Can I stop? Can I pop our collective collar for a little bit? Just listen. We got a lot in the works. You're gonna be seeing a lot more of us. You may see us in some different spaces, on some different platforms. Just stay locked in, okay? We are committed to bringing you high quality basketball content in whatever fashion and opportunities are presented to us and that we feel fit. And we feel fit for all of them. We have no limitations. The sky is the limit. We're the big. So this thing is going to keep going. It's going to keep growing. We're going to keep flowing. And I am Ro, and you know this. By the way of introduction, as I previously said, I am Ro, the hostess with the mostest, and you know this. Up above me, he goes by Coach Paul, PRR Sports, 1995. Paul Robinson, give him a hand. It's season 2. Clap it up. Give him a hand. To his left, the architect, Morpheus. We call him the professional. Alan, the man with the plan. Say what up, Jersey.
Yeah, big Jersey.
Oh, my fault, Paul. Say one big up to the man them out there in their yard.
Team Jamaica.
The biggest bad man in any.
Team Jamaica. Hey, watch out for Team Jamaica in the World Championships.
And for myself, I forgot to add, I'm Roller Hostess with the Moses, and you know this. You know what it is, Flatbush.
All right. All right.
And last,
who's that next to you?
and last but certainly not least, to my left, the big man in the middle, Mr. Consistent, the author, America's favorite Haitian uncle,
God.
King Dre, Soapbox. Okay. Okay, you like how the intros? That's a little preview. That's a little preview of season 3. In season 3, the intros get bigger. Okay, we done built some personalities over here. The internet gotta know who they talking to, who they listening to.
That's really a fact.
Listen, more of that on the way too. Trust. We cooking up on that front as well.
Oh, is that
Are we gonna give him a new song for season 3?
Listen, it's summertime. I'm growing my hair out. You know what that means. You know what that means. Anyway, we got a lot to get
working
to.
in the off season. That's what I be hearing.
That's the fact. We got a lot to get to. It's the end of season wrap up. I'm gonna jump right into it. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder, 2025 NBA champs. Well deserved.
Good job.
Great team from start to finish of this season. Perfectly constructed. I heard the term organic going around, which I think is a perfect way to describe this team nucleus. There's a lot of great storylines all within this team and its development, culminating in this championship this year. But I want to sidetrack that for a second because I want to get this out the way and then give all of Oklahoma City their praise to end it. I don't want to end with this note. Prayers up to Tyrese Haliburton. I had a very emotional reaction. If you know anything about me and my hooping history and my relationship with injuries, I immediately put myself in those shoes, and I could not imagine the mental anguish for that injury to happen in that way, in that moment, particularly because he was playing.
Yeah.
In Game 7 of the finals, and to start a game in the first 7 minutes and hit 3 threes, be talking to the crowd, feeling yourself, and for it to be gone in an instant is devastating. I'm sure it was devastating to the fan base. I was sitting in a living room with 2 Celtics fans when Tatum tore his Achilles, and I saw what that did, and that was just the second round. So I can't imagine folks sitting in various Indiana living rooms and to have that happen. I got a thug one. Just talking about it. This is real raw emotion. It's not performative for the pod. This is real raw emotion. I had a thug one. Also, as a fan, empathy for him aside, as a fan, I felt absolutely robbed. Yes. You know, we have been talking about, especially in this pod all season, about ways in which, you know, we're suffering from NBA nostalgia and basketball, the presentation of basketball not living up to what it used to be, the content, the product. While the basketball quality on court, we have argued against the narrative that it is very good and is very high. The reality show that is the NBA has not been good in a while. And you get this finals that on its face looked like it was going to be boring. 2 small market teams. Yeah. While Shea has cemented himself as a top 5 player before this series that was kind of up for debate to some people. You didn't have sort of the legends of the game in the finals, and everyone kind of counted Indiana out. They thought many people had it as a sweep. It was going to be boring. So to get a 7-game series with amazing finishes and great performances, and for the first 7 minutes to look like we're about to get a basketball classic, an absolute battle between 2 young stars for it all. And not to take anything away from the Pacers, who played hard for the rest of the game and made it interesting for a good amount of the game. Salute to those guys. Salute to TJ McConnell trying to step up and have a moment. Have a Shane Battier. Have a Mike Miller. Who else can we name? Have a Derek Fisher.
Man, he was balling the whole series though.
Oh, dude.
I know, but to step up in that moment and it's interesting, right? Of all the talent on that roster, for a guy like that with his story, with his physical makeup, to be the guy that almost did it for them,
that's
was
true.
truly
He gave his
amazing.
heart. He was
but
there, Alex Caruso. Come on,
I
man.
have to be honest. It undoubtedly fell short, and I don't mean his performance. I mean the game.
Right.
I wasn't emotionally invested in the game anymore after that. I didn't enjoy watching it. And as much as they fought, it still felt like a foregone conclusion.
Right.
So I'm more in that as an NBA fan, but nonetheless, kudos to Oklahoma City, and we'll get back to that. But just any other thoughts from you all that you want to send out to Haliburton or Indiana fans or just NBA fans in general?
Yeah, I mean, to the NBA fans, first in Indiana, kudos to all you. I know, obviously, bad blood between New York and Indiana, and we still haven't forgiven y'all for having two players do the choking motion to us. That's kind of crazy. But that being said, to have this happen to your best player and potentially he's sitting out for the next year, I can't imagine a feeling like it. That just rips your heart right out of your chest. So number one, I hope you all stay together. Because I hope this doesn't start with a breakup of any kind, because y'all have demonstrated that you can potentially get it done. And I hope that Haliburton comes back stronger. Modern medicine. He's got a good team around him over in Indiana. Y'all are truly there for each other. So I hope he comes back stronger. And to the NBA community at large, I mean, like Rose said, I mean, when I saw him go down, I tried to stay locked in. And the game itself stayed close for as much as it could for a time. But, here's to for everyone that was talking about, the ratings issues with the NBA. I hope that they were locked in enough to realize that this is one of the better, up until that moment that Hallie went down, this is one of the better, more hyped game sevens that we've had in recent memory. And I hope people start locking back in. There's a lot
highest
of
rated finals game in, what was it, 10 years?
Something like that. No.
Oh wait, the finals game, yes.
Game
but
seven,
the series was the highest, most watched in like 7 years.
Yeah, and the game 7 was the most watched game in like 10 years.
Yeah.
And this is, and as Rose said, these aren't like the legends of the game. These aren't, you know what I'm saying? I mean, well, Shea, and he's not a legend later.
In the making.
Because he just had one of the best seasons I've witnessed.
We're watching the beginning of something, which I'm gonna pat myself and Dre on the back with this. We've been trying to tell y'all he's one of those.
He's one of them. But all that to say, there's still good basketball out there to be played, and this is still a good product. Don't throw it away. All right. Don't close your eyes to it. Stay wide open. Watch. There's some good happening.
What?
Just keep going.
I'm gonna let him have grace today.
Thanks, guy. I'm a little tired. It's been a long day.
That's crazy.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Why?
I'm just gonna say, obviously, echo everything I just said too. But the finals was heartbreaking seeing that moment. But when the dust settles and everything, I hope Indiana and the Pacers and Tyrese Haliburton especially can kind of look back on this with some a huge sense of pride. Earlier today, I was just scrolling through Twitter. I saw a clip of Brad Windhorst talking about Tyrese Haliburton and the Pacers and their run this playoff season. And when y'all get a chance, just check that out because I pretty much echo every word. I'm not going to repeat it, but I echo every word of that because what?
Nothing.
That was crazy, man. I didn't even catch it until I saw it.
Keep going, bro.
But why did that? Close up himself.
My co-host, I got immature. I'm going to repeat what he said. I didn't say that. Who said that?
Dre said that just now.
Okay.
I know I was the only one that heard it. I was like, yo.
All right. Anyway. But I just want to echo Brian. When y'all get a chance, go find that clip and see what he
Complicated
said.
memory, I believe, was the term.
Yeah, but it was also just mostly his sentiments where, like, I hope y'all are proud of what y'all did. Like, Tyrese Haliburton, you became a superstar this finals run. Everything that you did this whole playoff.
He's a superstar.
Yes.
Don't take it too literally, but everything they
no, take it literally. Yes, he is.
Everything. I mean, I want to take it literally, but I don't want to. I said that because I don't want to get into like a debate of that right now. But like what he did this playoff and what the Pacers did this playoff run, like they weren't expected to win damn near any of the series that they went up against.
That's a fact.
And they took Oklahoma City Thunder, who dominated the whole season, to Game 7. And who knows what could have happened if he didn't get hurt? Like that's something to be extremely proud of. That is, and especially the way they play team basketball. Like what they did to me is like the most beautiful thing about sports. Like y'all come as a team together, y'all surpass expectations, y'all played together, y'all just almost did a common goal, and y'all did it for a state that is so proud of y'all and like really rides for y'all, because Indiana is a basketball state. It had me proud, and I have no ties to the Pacers or Indiana or anything. So what they did, I think, is the most beautiful thing about sports. Like I said, and I just hope they look back on this and they're just really, they could really, you know, I don't know, they could really like not be too down on themselves, because they hold their heads high, not be too down on yourself, and not look at this as like, you know, a waste or not too much of a loss, because y'all really did y'all thing, and that's something to be extremely, extremely proud of. And like I said, Tyrese Haliburton became a household name. I saw on Twitter, I saw on Instagram, I saw on Instagram
because of Route 49 though. That's why.
I was about to say.
Yeah, that's why he's a household.
I saw, but even that in itself is, you gotta be proud of that. But I was going to say, on Instagram, I saw a couple comments on the Shea Room. I think it was, they posted how Tyrese after his surgery and like his whole thing. And so when the comments was like, "Oh, this the Haliburton that Route 49 was talking about," I thought he was talking about Tim Burton. But either way, like now people know yourself. People know you, and that's something to be extremely proud of. You're a star now, and that's because you took everything you had in this playoff and you gave it all. You literally left it all out on the court, dog. Like that's amazing.
That overrated stuff is for the birds.
That part too. I forgot to even mention that. You took the overrated thing, and you gained the respect of everyone in the league, bro. Like
you're
that's
corny now if you say that or think that. Like you're corny.
You earned the respect of everyone.
Corny. You're 100% corny. He's accurately rated now. He is accurately rated.
All right. So listen, I second all of your comments.
See, the fact that you gotta say "listen to me" tells me you're gonna say some hate. I'm just getting ready for it. I'm just getting ready.
You don't know where I'm going.
What the hell?
You don't know
what the hell? Come on, man.
What the hell, Burton?
You don't know where I'm going.
What the hell, Leonte?
All right, keep going. You don't know where I'm going. Listen. Don't pull a Boston Celtics yet.
What does that mean?
Celtics garage sale is going on right now. Come on. Come on. Everything must go. Listen, don't do that, Pacers. Not yet. The
Celtics are cooked. Oh my God. The Celtics are cooked.
Now, listen.
We'll talk about it though.
Listen. Next year, the Pacers have shown the world that they are good enough to make the playoffs without Haliburton. At the very least. Like they could win a round. Think about it. This team is deep. This team is incredibly deep. If they keep everybody, they could be anywhere from 3 to 10. Yeah, like they could be. So they're gonna make the playoffs, right? Miles Turner, stop being whack. Miles Turner, hold on. Nobody's talking about this. I watched but it was like halfway through the series where I realized.
Is this the time for this?
I mean, what? So look, we went 20 minutes of y'all praising. Now is the time because I literally said,
you want to kick that man while he's down?
Who said he's down?
Miles Turner
is part of the reason they're down. If you want to talk about it,
No, dead ass.
Miles
No,
Turner
dead ass.
is
Actually, I agree with that.
Miles
Paul, keep
Turner
going.
is
I
a-
agree with everything
Miles
he's saying
Turner
right now.
He's not.
Listen, I agree with everything you said about Haliburton at the Pacers, so that's why I'm not gonna like say all
I
that.
just wanted to
because-
give him a shout out. I didn't want to analyze why they lost. It's
I mean,
over.
we gotta
They
talk
lost.
about. We gotta talk about it though. We gotta talk about it.
We don't
Listen.
have to.
Yeah, now we listen. Miles Turner is the reverse of Karl Anthony Towns.
Bro, we
Karl-Anthony
have to
Towns?
stop.
Karl Anthony Towns is elite offensively.
Is that a new
Horrible.
record? 20 minutes in and there was a Nick reference?
No,
Karl
he's
Anthony
definitely
Towns
faster.
is elite.
How do you
Elite
always
offensively.
do
Let
this?
me
How do you
talk.
always do this?
Let me
bro?
talk.
Alan, how does he? We can't keep letting him get
Good
away with
Let
it.
me talk. Come
You know
on.
why it keeps happening though, right?
Let
Because the
me
Knicks
talk, man.
have the heart of the city, and the Knicks have the heart of the NBA. Come on now.
Be quiet and let me finish, man.
I'm trying to be
That's
on
your
your
point.
side. Don't
Get to your
don't
point.
you
Get to
leave?
your point.
Interrupt me to be on my side. Come on. That's counterproductive. Listen. All I'm saying is Miles Turner is elite defensively, but horrible offensively, and he should be better than that, in my opinion. Not horrible, but like subpar. He is subpar. That's why you were able to put smaller guys on him like the whole time, right? He needs to step up. Benedict Mathurin, you're a wild player.
I got nothing but smoke. I got nothing but smoke for Benedict
Yeah,
Benedict
no, we gotta
Mathurin.
talk about that because that's weird. No, that with
No,
you,
I had
that's
nothing.
weird. That's
I
weird.
got nothing but smoke for that man.
That's
I got
wild.
nothing but smoke for that.
That's
he
a little
Haitian?
weird. That's
He
what I'm
is.
saying.
Exactly.
He is, and I hate to
Wait a
have this
second.
hate. I hate to have this hate. I really do. But my God, how many fouls does that man get because he's out of control? The man doesn't know anything. Listen,
Boo.
listen.
Boo.
Actually, you know what? Let me tell you something.
Boo.
There is a Burik, all right, who is Lou Dort, and then there's a Mal Burik.
Yo.
and that is Benedict Mathurin.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is
Wow.
I brought up next year they're making the playoffs because I want to see I want to see maturity in Benedict Mathurin, right? I need to see his game mature, and I want to see if Miles Turner is gonna get some semblance of a post game, like offensively. He had it and lost it, right?
I never believe players lose things. I think players come out of habits based on how they're asked to play. But we've had that argument many times on this pod. So
Yes, we have. So I want to see what they're gonna do next year, and then because Tyrese is probably gone until the playoffs at best.
he's
At
not
best,
coming for the playoffs.
you think it's a wrap for the whole?
Why would you do that? Same thing with Kyrie. Why put yourself in the pressure of a return at the most important time of the year? Why is the first time you're gonna play basketball in over a year the most intense form of basketball that exists on the planet?
That's fair. That's fair. But one could say you do it because your team is going to be in the best mental and physical shape that they've been in
But
to
you won't.
play, but you won't. So that's why it's a give and take. It's a give and take. You know what I mean? So I get it. But evaluate what's going on. I want to see these guys step up next year, right? Not too much though, because the Knicks need to beat them. But you know, they listen. The Pacers are here.
The Knicks have a cakewalk to the finals next year. If y'all don't get it done, we have a conversation to have.
Oh no, absolutely, and I completely agree with you.
Cakewalk. Cakewalk.
It should be a cakewalk. We want to see it.
Y'all gonna lose
Listen.
to Orlando though. Watch.
We're getting Taylor Jenkins.
Boy,
We're gonna be the number one
Orlando
seed.
Magic.
Boy.
I'm getting all the callbacks in on this episode.
We're gonna be the number one seed, and we're gonna go to the finals. I'm not worried about that.
You better.
I'm not worried about that
You better.
because we don't have Tom Thibodeau to sabotage us.
All right now.
But shout out to I don't even want to say shout out to Tyrese because he's annoying. But
We don't have time to sabotage.
but yeah, that's yeah. But Tyrese showed a lot of heart, man. He did what you want superstars
I
to
didn't
do.
even want to say shout out to this man. He's in a
No, why would I want to?
That's
But I'm doing it now, right?
That's very
I'm doing
New
it
York
now,
of
right?
you. That's very New York of you.
That's
Show
what
up to my aunt's funeral to make sure you dead.
I'm not doing
But
all that.
honestly, if anything,
Calm down.
That's
if
what
anything,
you're doing right now. That's what you're doing
No,
right
if
now.
I'm
anything,
showing
just
him
sign of respect.
love.
It's just sign of respect, if anything.
That's what I was. You see what I'm saying? Like, listen, he did what he's supposed
I don't know.
to
Showing
do.
respect looks funny these days, but we're gonna talk about that later as well.
No, dead ass. Let's talk about it. The
Where's my
fuck?
soundboard, man?
Right.
Oh yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
Thunder. Any words to the Thunder? I'm gonna tap Dre in here. What did Shea prove to well, maybe Dre's away eating a sandwich.
Yeah.
But Alan, what did Shea prove to everyone else that me and Dre already knew?
I don't think he proved anything.
No,
I feel
I
like
agree
he
with
did
you.
exactly.
I agree with you.
I think he did exactly what he was expected of him this
I
season.
agree.
From the first month when they started dominating, the Thunder dominated all year. I feel like everyone had him going to the finals for the most part. So I don't think he proved anything that people weren't expecting.
Is that fair though?
Yes.
In terms of what?
In terms of, do we just not bat an eye at how amazing it is because we expected it? Like,
No.
even though we expected him to level up in this way, do we not still acknowledge his first time doing it at all these stages and absolutely excelling? I mean, how many stars, when they have their first experiences at several of the levels he got to, right? All he got to was the first round last year, right? So to have a performance in a 7-game series against Jokic that he did, to have a performance in the conference finals that he did, to have the performance in the finals that he did for his first time, are we just going to chuck that up to, yeah, he was supposed to do that?
No.
When we watch so many superstars struggle in their first times at these levels?
It's different.
I only said that because the question was about him proving stuff to us or people. But let me be clear when I say
you don't have to
this.
prove against doubt. Sometimes you can prove in the affirmative, right? Sometimes you can affirm what everyone says about you. My question is that
Fair
something that should be acknowledged? The fact that even if he's proving people right, is there a credit that should go with that?
Fair enough. If you want to look at it that way, then yeah.
I'm asking. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, fair enough. If you want to, he affirmed what you're right. He affirmed what he was supposed to do or what people thought of him. And let me be clear when I say this. He just had one of the best seasons ever, period. Historically, statistically, he had one of the best.
2021 Giannis. I mean, that's the last time we saw this.
Right. He was dominant.
And that didn't end in a chip.
Everything.
No, I did.
2021, yeah, he got chip.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
So let me be clear when I say that. That was one of the best things ever. He has propelled himself to be top 2, maybe best player in the league. I'm not mad whichever way you look at it.
Oh.
If people you won the chip, you deserve to have at least that conversation. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad at that.
Oh. Is it that easy? Is it that easy?
It's not that easy. What he just did was not that easy. But his whole season.
That was a very skillful way to respond to my question. You know exactly what I meant when I said, "Is it that easy?"
It's not easy, but I'm saying he earned the right to put himself in that conversation. He made a debate of it, and you get kudos for that. You get all the credit in the world for that. And more than anything, what's more impressive to me is he's been literally the most consistent player I've.
Everything in my life is consistent
for a while. He said, he said that was corny again. He's not being. I'm gonna
get back to the corny conversation. Trust
the first nonchalant player to win a chip and act nonchalant while winning the chip.
Let him.
I don't know if he's really nonchalant, but as a player, nothing else. I'm not looking at anything else. Is the way you know what you're getting from him every single night. Is one of the most amazing things. He's damn near a guaranteed 30 no matter what. And
that's
even though
a superstar is.
Yeah, exactly.
So is Anderson.
So he
no.
What you say?
I said
what's the question?
Ant a superstar?
No.
Ooh. You making that
we talked about that the last time we were all together. That's what we learned. That's why I want to say Ant in his first time, in conference finals, it didn't look good, and in his second time, it didn't look great. Shea in his first time, And then his first time in the finals, like, it don't matter that he was MVP and we were expecting that. Like, he showed up. And unfortunately, in recent eras, showing up has not been expected or consistent of certain guys. We want to get into who, but we've recently seen a lot of guys not show up.
There's a reason for that. Go ahead,
But just wrap up really quick about what I was saying. Like, so kudos to the Thunder too. I think just as an organization, they top tier in the NBA. And Sam Presti, I think, is the best GM in the league. I forgot to also say this about the Indiana Pacers, but the way these two teams have built their teams, I think, is amazing because the Pacers never even like tanked for real. They weren't always good, but they never like tried to tank. And with the Thunder on the other side, I just got reminded today or something that they were in the play-in like 2 years ago. So these two teams are like models of excellency that the rest of the league needs to follow.
Great.
So shout out to the Thunder. Congratulations on a dominant season.
Dre, I want to ask you a very specific question.
I'm here.
How should we talk about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander moving forward from today?
Very respectful. Very, very respectful.
Mike.
Let me tell you something. Oh, y'all couldn't hear me? Let me say it one more time. Very respectfully, okay? Let me tell you something. This man is one of them ones, okay? There's very few guys you see enter playoffs, right, that just won the MVP and the scoring title. I feel like that gets lost in the sauce.
It does.
Right? And he stayed averaging the same exact points per game that he's been doing. I think there is like a very minimal, maybe half a point differential between what he was doing in the regular season against everybody else. And then he gets to the playoffs and he said, oh, y'all thought this was for show. Now I'm going to do it to y'all too. Every single one of y'all. Who you got next? The Pacers, the Timberwolves. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They were just a well-built team, and it starts with him. You can joke about everything I do is consistent, but he meant that shit. And you don't see a lot of that in this league. You don't see a lot of guys that are like, no, I'm really him. I'm him. I'm trying to stay him. I didn't see Luka do it. I love Jason.
Whoa.
Yup. I ain't seen Luka do it yet.
Whoa.
I ain't seen Luka do it yet.
I'm gonna come back to that.
You should. And you should take issue with it too.
I'm gonna come back to that.
There comes a point where, and we've been talking about who's the face of the league, who's this, who's that, who's the NBA going to give it to. Shea didn't care about none of that. Shea said, I'm going to take it. And if he stays on that level of consistency, if I see him averaging another 31 point whatever season and get another MVP, and he stays on trajectory, he's going to be right. So how should you talk about this man? Very respectfully. The way he put together this team, the way he put together this run, absolutely fantastic. Now, the way we watch the season 2 of not season 2 necessarily, but next season of how this team operates will be very, very similar. And people are going to think I'm premature for this, but I don't care. It's going to be very, very similar to how we view the second year Warriors run, the second year of their dynasty. And here's why I say this. They have a ready-to-go star. They have a ready-to-go big three. And they have a well-built team. They aren't going anywhere, folks. A lot of teams are going to be spending a lot of years trying to get to their level.
Can I get into that with you? Because that's where I was going to go next.
Sure,
and then, Paul, I'll come to you with a very specific question that I think you'll like as well.
I got a response to what y'all said because I don't agree with a lot of what y'all said.
I know, but I think you'll like the question that I bring to you. Dre, stay right there. Because in the same breath as I said the Knicks have a cakewalk in the East next year, I think what's very interesting is, do we need to, or should I say, is it fair to acknowledge Shea's path and the ways that might change going forward? Shea as an MVP, getting all the MVPs and getting to the finals and winning his first chip in the West, did not have to face, in winning the West, LeBron James, Steph Curry, or Kevin Durant to take them. Or I understand he had to go through Jokic, and you can speak to how much points in terms of what I'm speaking to he gets for that. But in terms of the superstar echelon, and like you said, he went and took it, right? Is it appropriate to acknowledge who he took it from and who he didn't have to take it from in order to get the crown the West? And I asked that because you brought up Luka. There, if Curry is healthy, a lot of people say things might have went different. If the Lakers, with all their money bags that they now have in their new ownership, put a team around Luka, it looks different. If the Nuggets retool, it looks different. So Shea has the crown now. How secure is that crown? Is both from the foundation that it's built on in terms of his road this year, and how sturdy and firm do we think it is in the face of what is to come? Assuming what I said happens, right? Assuming these teams retool and these guys come hungry, chomping at the bit. Jokic only has one. Luka doesn't have one. Steph wants a fifth. LeBron damn sure wants a fifth. So answer those two questions. How solid is the foundation? How strong is Shea's foundation of this crown, and how firm do you think it is against the oncoming opposition?
Well, let's start with the firmness of this foundation. It's very firm. Right. Okay, it's built on solid rock. All right, it's built on solid organic rock because it's not built on fleeting contracts. It's not built on one and done stars. Okay,
how contested was it though?
How contested was what?
His run.
The path.
His run.
He's asking if the path was easy.
He went up against the best player in the world and beat him. We can talk about it. We can say LeBron hasn't been the best player in the world in 5 years. Steph Curry hasn't been the best player in the world.
Playoffs.
LeBron in the playoffs has not been the best player in the world since 2020.
I don't know if that's true at all.
Steph Curry has not been the best player in the world in the playoffs since 2022. I'm going on the last time they won. Because if you're the best player, I'm dead serious. I'm sorry. You can disagree with me all you want. You're the best. You're doing those big things.
Y'all debate that in the comments. I like that take, but I think there's a conversation to be had there. Not for today, but in the comments, y'all get into that. As Steph, because we said very different things going into the playoffs this year. We said that part of the intrigue of the playoffs this year was that the LeBrons and the Stephs of the world had intriguing competitive teams.
Yes.
And now we believed that on any given night, they still would be the best players in the world. And we didn't get to see that against Shea. Shea didn't have to deal with that.
Right. That's true. And that's fair. But he did. And that gives to credence. That's like absence of evidence, right? And
that's what I'm saying. How sturdy is the foundation?
So then we look at the evidence that's in front of us, right? And the evidence that's in front of us is, well, maybe we don't have a guy that's the best player in the world on any given night. But he went up against the guy that's considered the best player in the world on every single night. And then he beat him. So that says something. He went up against the guy that's like this kid, this 23-year-old who hasn't done that much in the league yet. He's the face of the league. And he said, not really. I'm not that impressed. There's something to be said. We can talk about all this.
Yeah, get it. I like that. I don't disagree. I want to get this take out.
No, for real.
Say more.
Listen.
I like this.
Let me say something. The teams he beat were not incomplete teams or teams that wandered into the playoffs. Okay? These were well-built, well-run with great player teams that he beat.
All right.
You can say maybe not in the first round. Sure, fine. But the rest of the playoffs, that's exactly what happened. The evidence is also making it to the finals and going up against basically a sleeper team that came out and just took everybody out. And the expectation is when you go up against that team, right, they might take you out too. And again, he said, nah. So I can't go against a guy like that and say, oh, maybe he didn't have the hardest run. Maybe that's true, but that doesn't mean he didn't have a difficult run or he didn't have a really respectable path to the finals. And then the next question.
But in terms of his peers, do you think they look at him holding the crown and do you think they see a trail of blood behind that crown?
I think for the upcoming year, they do. I think for the upcoming year they do, only because of who's missing for next season.
When we look at a guy like Kawhi,
Game seven alone is why they don't.
if we look at Kawhi, that's a
Interesting.
great and that's a strong point, right? Even the person you were battling with in the finals, you didn't have to deal with it. You didn't have to deal with him. When we look at Kawhi only has 2 chips, but why do we respect Kawhi's 2 chips so much?
Because of the way he got it done.
Because of who
And
he
who he
took
beat.
that crown from. He took one from LeBron and D Wade's hands, and he took another from Joel Embiid. Healthy Joel Embiid. The last time we ever saw healthy Joel Embiid,
I've never seen Joel Embiid with a crown ever, so I don't know what crown.
I'm just saying the last time we saw healthy Joel Embiid, he took it away from Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry, and I think I'm probably missing someone in that run. Go ahead.
So do I?
I'm just saying
sure.
we compare when even someone who's had the crown only temporarily, like a Kawhi, that crown was respected because you had to slay kings to become king.
But that's what I'm saying. He did slay a king.
Shea slayed 1 king.
That's true.
Is that enough?
It's enough for year 1. It's enough for year 1. How would it translate to year 2? And this is the big thing that people are going to say. And this is why. This is what I'm telling you. The way that we are going to watch the next year of the Thunder is going to be very similar to how we watch the second year of the Warriors. Because
in that way, is it real? Is it real way? Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Is this
Correct.
real?
That's a big fact.
Correct. That's
big
correct. That's absolutely correct.
Oh, he took out Giannis.
Yeah, that's a very respectable run.
2019, he went through healthy Joel Embiid, Giannis, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. There was a trail of blood leading up to that throne.
Right.
Well, there's another conversation to have that we could have about that. About are there real kings in this modern era?
That's a real question.
That's another conversation that we probably can't get into.
If we just go with nominal, though, we can say that he didn't have to kill more than 1. And when we stack up against other times people took the crown, we can see that other people have had to take over several kingdoms and kill several kings, and he had to kill 1.
That's true. But and I guess this goes to bigger conversations. But on Jokic became king, and he didn't kill any king.
We said that. We said that.
Not one.
And the years prior, when he's had to face kings, the only one he seems to be able to kill is LeBron.
Right.
So I mean, ultimately, I'm bolstering your point that this next year I think is very important, which is getting to my second question, which I want to go to Alan for, is that how sturdy is this crown in the face of what we believe will be the future opposition in the Western Conference, Alan?
We'll go to me. We'll go Paul because I don't think Paul.
Paul, you want to take that one?
You didn't give a take on this yet.
Listen, man.
I'm trying to be fair to you.
We got Luka reloading, skinny Luka. Ant is going to be trying to get better. You got Kevin Durant making moves in Houston. This is not an invitation to evaluate. I'm just saying what's going on out there. You got Kevin Durant making moves in Houston. You got skinny Luka coming with the Lakers with a big purse. You got Jokic still hungry out there. You got the Warriors getting healthy, retooling back out there. You got Ant wanting to get better.
Listen, the problem is, the more I think about it, is that you're naming old guys now who are
not
old
all of
right
them.
now.
I said Ant. I said
you said Luka.
I said Luka.
Ant's a king?
He's trying to be one. He's trying to be one.
Exactly. This is why Andre's point is pretty good. It's like you got to look at what it is. We have had a different champion for 7 years straight. For 7 years straight. You can't have any kings like that.
Has it been 7 already?
I know, but Paul, what I'm saying is, sure, to keep the analogy tight, the kingdoms have been in disarray. There has been no emperor to unite the lands. But in the past, when there has been an emperor, he's killed off the chiefs of the various fiefdoms, right? That we recognize as chiefs. If Shea didn't necessarily have to do that, but you have
I
rising
don't know
chiefs.
if I agree with that.
You have rising chiefs that want to be kings as well. He's the first of them to break through. How much do we think he is going to be the cream of that crop?
Okay, so
Luca's coming. Ant is coming.
see why? Listen, all I'm gonna say is that right now, the way the NBA is set up, it's hard to really name. It's
Doesn't that go to the question I'm asking though? In especially in this NBA era.
But all we could do is just wait and see. I don't know if they're gonna win the chip next year. I really I have a
there's
feeling they
dynasty
won't,
talk, right? There's dynasty talk.
Yeah, there's a lot of dynasty talk. But at the end of the day, there's dynasty. You know why there is dynasty talk? It's literally because of their age. That's it.
Well, that's kind of what I'm asking.
That's it.
Do we think if the head of the snake is Shea, the key to it being the key to the Warriors being the dynasty that they were projected to be is that Steph won a championship and came back better.
Right.
Steph came back in 2016 and became one of the best players you've ever seen after winning a chip because he knew that the West was tricky and people were gunning for that and said, okay, yeah, the young little Warriors team, they snuck through one because the Cavs were hurt, but we coming for them. The Thunder reloaded and got healthy. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook came for him. Pause. The Rockets, James Harden was out there ready, right? And Steph said bet and came back better. After winning MVP, he won a back-to-back MVP and won a unanimous one. So to keep Dre's connection going, that's what do we see Shea falling into the pit of all these other temporary kings and vacating the throne next year? Or is he gonna take a Steph-like jump and come back better next year to fight off a hungry Ant, to fight off a hungry Luka?
Listen, it's so hard to say because winning the championship in this era one time doesn't mean much.
We know. I'm saying if we had to predict,
I can't foreshadow. I can't answer that question.
What do you? Okay, Alan, do you have a?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
Shea can
I
do
think the Knicks have a chance to win the chip next year. Yeah, okay. So
that's
therefore,
correct. No, that's correct. That's really correct. That's correct.
Wait a second.
Alan,
Wait,
no. This is why I came to you. This is why I came to you.
No more. You can't bring up the Knicks every single time, bro. You can't.
We're talking about chips. We're talking. Hold on. We're talking about chips. No, but that's not. Now you're being wild. Now you're being unfair.
I'm being wild.
Yes, you are.
We're having a talk about Shea.
Because it's getting to the point where every time I talk about the Knicks, you're like, "Oh, here we go." But the Knicks are a championship.
You bring them up, but there's no need to bring them up.
They are a championship contender.
We're talking
So I said the Knicks. That's it. I said the Knicks. Right? There are other teams. You got the Pacers are going to come back.
You're still naming East Coast teams. I'm talking about the West.
Wait, you're talking about Kings. We're talking that's chips. You can't ignore the East. That's what I'm trying to say. Like we're talking about chips.
But you can't. Your road isn't through the East. He's in the West. If he gets to the finals, the question we're asking will have been answered already.
But
I'm talking about the road. His road is in the West.
But a king, if you beat the king in the East, then that matters. That's part of the road.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the question I'm asking, if he gets to the finals, it's already answered. So you bringing up East
that's
teams
not true.
In this, yeah, it is.
How is he? Why? Because he's the
question
king of the West.
Yes, when you win the conference, you're the king of the West, and I'm saying the West.
Is that all we're talking about? I thought you were talking about NBA.
I'm specifically talking about his road. His road. Remember when I brought up Steph, what did I talk about? Who he had to go against in 2016 in the West. The Thunder got healthy. James Harden retooled.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Okay.
And Steph got better. So I'm saying it's a very similar situation. The West looks to get better again next year. Right? Luka, the Lakers have bags, and he's apparently getting skinny. Ant is gonna get better. KD's on the move. The West is looking scary again, and I'm asking, and now I'm going to ask Alan, do you see Shea being able to do what Steph did? Maybe not in terms of numbers and MVP, with him becoming. I'm not going to ask you, do we think Shea's going to become one of the best players we've ever seen next year? but do you think he can take his game to another level to actually fuel the Thunder being a dynasty in the face of what's in front of him in the West?
You got to win the chip to be the dynasty. You see, you're going back to dynasty talk now.
But you don't even have a chance if you can't get through your conference. That's why I'm asking.
But what if they do? Why are we acting like you're a king now just because you do that again? You got to win the chip. Am I wild in saying that?
No, but I'm asking a very specific question. That's all I'm just saying. I'm asking very specific. Alan, do you have an answer to the question?
Ask your question again. Make sure I understand.
Do we see him, if they're going to be a dynasty, it's going to be fueled by Shea.
Right.
His road in the West this year was, to some people, questionable. Dre made a very good argument for why it's not, but to some people, it is questionable. It looks to be even harder next year for the reasons I said. Ant getting better, Luka potentially having a better situation. And I'm going to throw in the old guys. I'm going to throw in Jokic potentially coming back. I'm going to throw in Steph potentially being healthy. I'm going to throw in KD being on the move. Right? Whatever. I'm just saying, with all that challenge that exists on the road for him, do you see him taking his game to another level next year for them to be able to push forward and have a chance at being a dynasty?
that's okay. Well, not to answer your question, but does he have to take it to another level? Like,
that's a good question. Do you think he could be the exact same player he is this year? Well, that's interesting about his road. Do you think he can be the same player he was this year and get to the finals playing that way with this team and get through? Let's say his road is Steph, Luka, Ant. Let's say
no, Houston.
I'm not saying who it's going to be. I'm giving an example. Let's say the seedings, it'll work out however it works out. Let's say his road to the finals next year is Steph, Luka, Ant. Do you think he can be the same level of player he was this year and get through that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think if he comes back as a
do you think he's better than Steph was in 2015?
Yes.
No.
2015? In 2015. 2015, not the unanimous MVP year.
The first chip.
The first year. The first year.
No.
When he was averaging 22.
Okay.
It's close, though. It's close.
Stay with me. If you say no, then do you think Steph didn't have to get better to get through his road in 2016? Do you think if he was the same player he was in 15, they would have went 73-9 and got to the finals again?
No.
It probably would have 73-9, but they would have went to maybe.
Hold on. So if Steph had to get better, and you're saying he was better than Shea is now at that time, why doesn't Shea have to get better?
Well, I'm not saying Steph has to get better. I think Steph could have made the finals again. But more importantly, what happened was Steph's team got way better, if I remember.
No, we're talking about 16. We're talking about 16.
No. They did. The individuals did get better. Draymond got better.
No,
Draymond got better.
No,
Harrison Barnes got better.
No,
Clay got better.
No,
Steph got better.
No.
Come on,
Steph
man.
became one of the best players. We're not going to sit here and act like what Steph.
The whole team got better. They had better chemistry. They had better camaraderie, and individually, they all got better too. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Alan, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. The team did get better. They got better because Paul was right. They get better individually, but Steph Curry also did get better.
Yes.
What was the bigger factor in them being 73-9? The whole team getting better, or Steph taking the absolute leap?
73. Everybody has to get better to win that much.
Or you get the first unanimous MVP
because they won 73. It wasn't just because of Steph.
All what 2016 Steph was?
Yes. Do you recall what 2016 Clay was? Come on, man. Like I'm not trying to take away from Steph. I'm trying to say that team was one of the greatest teams ever, despite winning the chip, because everybody got better.
So that is the question then. Shea can stay as good as he is, but Jalen Williams and Chet have to get better.
That was the point I was getting to.
Yes,
I was going to say those guys could get better and they could win the chip again.
Do they have to? My question is, do they have to? I'm looking at what's coming. Do you think
they have to?
The way Chet played in this finals, Chet's getting a lot of credit in the finals, but there's a lot of criticism for how Chet plays. Do you think Chet could play at that level and go through hypothetically Steph, Luka, Ant, and get to the finals?
Yes.
Can I add
No
something
way.
into this? Can I
It's a
add
team
something into
sport.
this?
It's a team sport.
Go ahead.
Can I add
And
something into
I'm
this?
pointing out different players on the team now.
Let
Shea
me add
stays the
this
You're
in.
just
same.
naming names. You're just naming names.
Because here's the thing. When we talk about getting better, so often we think about point production, right?
Correct.
But I think so. First and foremost, I do think Shea this year was better than 2015 Steph. That being said,
I think so too. Honestly, if I had to be honest,
if I'm being honest,
It's close.
if I had to be honest, I think
then
so.
2015 Steph, I didn't think was one of the greatest players I've ever seen. 2016 Steph is by far
Arguably the
must
greatest
watch
I've ever seen
basketball.
a player play during a season in my
I
life.
saw 2016 Steph coming from 2015. So
That very well
No
true.
way.
No,
y'all forgot what I was saying about you. Forgot what I was saying about Stephen Curry.
I don't.
Okay.
I was there with you in those St. John's hallways.
All right, kudos
I
to
was
you.
there. I was
kudos
there.
to
He
you.
actually
St. John's hallways.
he actually was saying this for a minute.
But I will say
this. That's a fact. But I'll say this. Shea getting better will make his other players better. Not because he needs to go out
Talk
and
about it. You talking about all those players in the Warriors getting better like they weren't benefiting off how good
Correct.
Steph got.
Shea getting better is going to put a bigger target on his back. And if he increases his passing and learns how to be a better facilitator that way, those guys are he's the point
What if
guard.
he becomes that? But what if he becomes a double-double guy? What if he gets a consistent three-pointer?
That could
what happens
That's
to that
that's the only improvement that I think he even needs to make. And then defensively, more consistency.
I saw Shea blow out. I think it was the Pacers. I saw them blow out. I think it was the Pacers by like 20. And in that game, he had 12 assists. Don't tell me he can't do it.
He had 12 in Game 7.
That's a part of that. Okay. Let me say this. Right.
We're not gonna sit here and act like he can't get better.
No. Okay. Wait.
That's what I'm saying.
Hold on. Wait a second.
Crazy.
Wait a second.
We're not saying that.
The problem is right. In my opinion, it's twofold, and it's a comfortable. It's going to be an uncomfortable conversation, right?
Uncomfortable.
You're right. Listen, the first aspect of that is the first point is this, right? When it comes to the Thunder, right? His assists came from the fact that his role players showed up in those games. SGA's role is to score and get buckets, and then get assists if they double, and if they don't double, just eat. That's what he did.
That's the role of a superstar. That's
right. But the point is
that's not unique. That's not
no. But the point is that the Thunder role players were such threats throughout the regular season that Rick Carlisle did not risk leaving these guys just wide open for the most part, like how they were doing to like an ant.
Okay.
Right. So when we talk about the SGA versus his peers, he has the best team around him. That's number one. Number two, this is the uncomfortable.
That's a double-sided. Real quick though, that's a double-sided coin though, because we can say the Thunder role players are better than, for example, the Timberwolves, but do we completely write off potentially Shea is better than Ant, and that's why the Thunder role players look better? That's a hard thing to decipher. I feel like
it is. But I'll say this: when I saw Ant get into that SGA mode last year, he was looking like an SGA. When he just said, "I'm going out there to kill from the middle in all three levels," he was very much unstoppable. Let's not act like Ant's not Ant.
Unstoppable is not what I'm talking about, though. Remember we were talking about the development of Tatum in terms of control of the game, and Allen, and Dre talked about while his scoring numbers weren't great in the finals, how he absolutely controlled that entire finals, and that was.
I think he didn't play well.
Hold on, no, you didn't. But just hear me out. Allen, and Dre pointed to we saw growth in his game because he absolutely controlled that finals, and his scoring just didn't work out, and that was his growth to find a way to put that together. But we were watching him take that maturation of not just being unstoppable and dominant, but controlling games. Right? I don't think that was talked about enough in this series in the finals. I watched Shea become that. The 12 assists. Shea controls games. I've never seen Ant have control of a game. That's the one thing he's missing right now. He doesn't know how to control the game.
He basically changed his whole play style. That's the problem.
I know, but
both Tatum and Ant. And I think Tatum is not better for it.
I agree with you. That's part of what I'm talking about. Is like for a superstar that is the next level, right? You could be as unstoppable as you want. Tracy McGrady at one point in the world, and I'm bringing him up as a little bunny, was the most unstoppable person on the planet. But that doesn't mean he can control the game. I mean, LeBron James today, you know where the biggest attrition is in his impact? Because the numbers say he's the same player, don't they?
Yes.
But when you watch the game, you know he's not. And why do you know he's not? Because he absolutely cannot control the game anymore.
Correct.
So when I'm saying the distinction, I'm not talking about this guy becoming a point guard, facilitating point guard Chris Paul type. I'm talking about control of the game. And I saw Shea begin to exhibit a lot of that.
So therefore, he doesn't have to necessarily improve in that because he's doing it.
I want to see that consistently, though.
I think he did do it because his teammates didn't show up.
Sorry. That's what I'm bringing that up to say is that we have to take that into account when we start saying, "Oh, his role players were better." He made his role players look better because he understood how to manipulate the game and play to the strengths of his guys. You know, if we lined up players in a vacuum one-on-one on certain rosters, I don't know that you can argue. Let's just take starting fives, right? I don't know that you could argue that the Thunder starting five is head to toe better than the Nuggets starting five.
That's crazy. Of course you can.
I don't know that. Talent-wise, I don't know if you could say that.
I 100%.
As a unit, how they operate, yes.
Do you mean I'm sorry. When you're saying
if we were in a draft, right? And you had those 10 players.
I'm taking the Nuggets players.
I see what you're saying.
100%.
Okay. All right.
100%.
After SJ and Jalen Williams, it's all Nuggets.
That's a fact. Correct. That's correct. That's correct. Even Chet.
Hell yeah.
All right.
That's a height alone. Just a height alone.
His defense, I don't know about that, but
his defense is why he was on the court.
Actually,
Thank you. His defense is why he was even on the court.
Yeah.
Alan's making a great point because I don't know that I take Aaron Gordon over Chet.
100% every time. Aaron Gordon just had one of the best playoffs of anybody.
That's a fact.
Of anybody.
I'm taking Chet.
Aaron Gordon is the reason that series went to 7. Let's talk about it. Aaron Gordon is the reason the Nuggets even beat the Clippers. Let's talk about it.
You listen, and he's not going to get the respect he deserves
at all.
He's not.
All.
But he's
but to piggyback off that point, right? But like, so y'all know how I feel about the whole asterisk championship conversation. I made myself clear on that. I try not to subscribe to that thought, but for people who do subscribe to that thought,
I do for 2020.
Like myself,
is this not do you not feel that way about the Thunder championship this year?
No.
Speaking about exactly what you just said about Aaron Gordon and how important he was to the team. He was injured in Game 7. Michael
Porter Jr.
was injured the whole series.
Right.
The first round, John Morant went down in like Game 2 or 3.
They weren't
the only healthy team.
They weren't going to do that.
I know.
But to your point,
to my point. And then the only healthy team really they faced was Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. So if y'all subscribe to that thought,
him having beat Jokic is carrying a lot of weight that was not afforded to the Celtics last year because none of the best players were there. I'm just saying.
Yes.
One superstar in one series is carrying a lot of weight of respect for this road. Yes. And I'm saying and my question is, if that changes and he has to go through 3 healthy superstars, are you telling me he doesn't have to get better? Or the team doesn't have to get better at the least?
The healthy superstars that you named, the Thunder are clearing them as a team.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to tell.
As good as they are today, no one has to get better. Dub doesn't have to get better. Chet doesn't have to get better to go through Shea, Luka, and Ant next year.
To go against the Timberwolves, the Warriors, and the Lakers, no. That's what I'm trying. It's a team game.
I know.
No,
I'm
they
saying
don't.
I'm saying the Thunder don't have to get better. I think every champion has to get better.
I
Fundamentally.
say this. I think the Rockets are going to be a big threat.
Throw whoever you want to. The
But that's
Rockets
it.
with
That's
the
it.
healthy KD.
You really believe in the Rockets. You really
Yes.
believe in these
You
guys.
can't tell me.
Yes,
You can't tell me
yes.
if the Lakers don't put an athletic big next to Luka, they're not a problem next year.
They got to do it though.
Yeah,
I
they have to do it. They
I
have to
understand that, but I'm talking hypothetically. Let's say that happens. Steph healthy. You think
Now we're talking.
Steph healthy with that team? Let's say
No.
Kuminga.
No.
No.
The Thunder don't have to get
Yeah.
better. Okay, let's say that's
No.
first round. Cool. I would agree with you. Okay.
Mhm.
Second round, Luka with the big.
Who's
The
the
Thunder
big?
don't have to get
Tell
better.
me- Pick your favorite.
Whoever-
It's a question,
you
but
want,
Luka
whoever you
himself
want.
is the issue.
Dwight Howard. In current status, Dwight Howard.
You gotta
No.
stop saying Dwight, man.
No.
Dwight is now in the big three. It's a wrap. I'm sorry.
There's talk.
That
there's
man's
talk-
in
hold
the
on.
Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame. It's done.
There's talk.
Right. He's literally in the Hall of Fame.
I'm gonna give you two bigs. There's talks right now between the Jazz for John Collins and the Heat for
No.
Bam.
No,
Yeah,
And
it's
they-
over.
No.
Thunder's clearing y'all. Clear it.
Bam is overrated.
Goodbye. Thank you. I've been saying this for years.
Kendrick Perkins.
Time out.
No.
Time out. They beat the Luka gets to the finals with Daniel Gafford,
Yep.
and with Bam,
Yes.
it's laughable.
Yes.
Bam
Yes.
is 6'8".
Yes.
Daniel Gafford is actually 7 foot.
Bam was a DPOI candidate several years ago.
I don't
And so was
care.
Jared Jackson Jr.
I don't
Okay,
care.
And
I don't.
So what is that
care.
height?
another
What is-
overrated.
What's the matter with that height? There's nothing. That
You're,
height.
you're,
not-
you're talking about the offensive end, though, are you not?
I'm just saying, Luka with the big. We've seen what Luka does with the big.
Honestly, it's not going to matter
He's
because
not that type of
1'6'8" big
Okay,
is
you
having
tell me-
problems
you
against the
tell-
Thunder.
What is the big that if the Lakers get, it's scary. It's scary hours in the
Mark
West.
They're not going to go get him. They're not going to go get him.
It's not what
I'll
I'm
tell you
asking.
exact-
I'm
I'll
not.
tell-
I'm not asking whether it's going to happen or not.
Williams.
Give me who the hypothetical
Anthony
works for you for.
Davis. Anthony Davis.
Okay, let's
What?
say
He
Obviously.
said it's not.
Nick
He said-
Richards.
He said it's not going to happen. I said the guy that they need to get to do what you want them to do is they traded away.
you're saying that for the Thunder to have to be better to beat the Lakers have to have Anthony Davis with Luka.
Yes, 100%. I actually firmly
You think the Thunder only have to get better in the event that the Lakers have 3 Hall of Famers?
I think they have to get better.
There's no solid center the Lakers could get that make the Thunder have to get better to beat them.
Name them for me because I can't think of them.
The problem, the reason why Andre has a point is because of Luka. Luka is so bad defensively that could be the case. Now,
Person they need to
He's already
get.
been to the finals. Like,
Actually, you know what? I'll give you a more
True.
realistic one. I'll give you a more
True. He's
realistic
already-
option. Can I give you a more realistic
that's
option?
that's always my retort to that is that he's already done it.
Can I give you a more
already done
realistic?
fair enough, fair
Can I
enough,
give you a
fair
more
enough.
realistic option? Nick Claxton. The Lakers
Okay.
go out and get Nick Claxton.
Do the Thunder have to get
Thunder's-
better?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say that happens. You got healthy Steph in the first round. They can take care of that, but it's gonna be rough. I'd say that'd be at least 6 games. Right?
Wait, hold on. Wait, can I interrupt you for a quick second?
Go ahead.
You know why the Thunder are scary going forward? It's because they won the chip.
Correct.
Yeah,
Winning the chip alone
Makes
because you know what the problem.
I agree, but that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. It's like the way you build on that is that I think you have to get better. I
See-
think you will because you won a chip. That experience alone makes them better players than they were yesterday.
Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren's only issue is really consistency. And
Right.
the chip
Right.
gives you a confidence that makes you relax in high leverage moments that allow you to perform at least at the level
Was
you
that
were performing at
was that
in the regular
true?
season.
Wait. Was that true for Chris Middleton?
For Chris Middleton, after they won the chip,
Was that true for Chris Middleton?
did he not get injured the next year?
Eh.
Yeah, he got injured, bro. That don't count.
Was that true for Jamal Murray?
The next 2023 and then 2024.
Right.
Was he coming off an injury too? Wait a second.
No, we're not doing that. We're not.
No, he
doing
was.
that.
He was. No, he was. Come
We're
on.
not doing that. We're not doing
He
that.
was. I'm
You didn't miss
I'm
no
not a-
games. If you didn't miss games, we're not doing that. If you didn't miss games, we're not doing that.
Oh my gosh.
If you didn't miss games, we're not doing that.
Wow.
If you suited up for every game in the playoffs, I'm not hearing any of that.
Boy, that's
So wasn't true for
no.
Chris Middleton after their chip. Wasn't true for Jamal Murray after his chip. Was it true for Jordan Poole?
Jordan Poole.
After
Wait.
22, was it true for Jordan Poole? Did he find consistency after winning a chip? How about Andrew Wiggins?
No.
Wait a second. What happened to? Didn't Curry get injured the next year?
No, we beat them with healthy Curry, completely healthy. In fact,
I remember Jordan Poole played badly too. Yeah,
right. So this idea, it can, but let's not act like it always does. Again, like we've said, 7 years in a row, the championship hasn't been repeated.
I will say that I think it's different this time because they have a nucleus. Like Jordan Poole in and of himself, he was like an outlier on that team anyway, right? Chris Middleton, you don't want to hear out.
I would say the new nucleus after Steph, Dre, and Clay was Jordan Poole, Wiggins, and Looney. That was the new nucleus of the team, and two of those three got worse the next year after they got bags as well, which is about to happen to the Thunder. Chet's about to get a bag. Shea's about to get a bag. They're all eligible for extension this summer. So all these dudes are about to get paid out their ass at 23.
They were a fake nucleus.
We've seen what happens to that.
They were a fake nucleus. Jordan Poole was part of a fake nucleus. Andrew Wiggins was part of a fake nucleus. That's the issue. This is a real nucleus.
We might be saying the same thing in 365 days from now.
No, I don't think we will be. I really
There's
don't
no veterans like that. How they had on the Warriors at that time.
And you know what? Shout out to Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso is not going to get the respect he deserves for coming off the bench and really being a voice and being the only champion on that team. But the fact, to Paul's point, and I know he's still young, but having a quasi veteran that's going to be there with a ready to go star, I'm telling you, that's going to mitigate a lot of, and that's actually the difference between that Warrior nucleus, the actual core of the Warriors, and that new nucleus you were talking about, because there was no bridge guy. There wasn't a 29-year-old guy that's like, hey, listen, I was with the old guys last year, and I'm with y'all still.
Hold on. It's not coming to me, but I don't know if that's true.
Double check, because I don't think there was. Maybe Kevon Looney, but you're saying he was on the nucleus on the Warriors. The Thunder have
a bridge guy.
I would say that would be Looney is a good candidate for that role.
But no, because he's in the nucleus. You can't be a bridge guy and the nucleus.
Okay, I would say Otto Porter Jr., who they traded after the season.
He wasn't really on that Warriors run.
What? He won a chip.
He was 2022.
Yeah, he was a starter.
I don't know.
We talk about bridges, but they had Steph, Draymond, and Clay. Like
he's saying the bridge between. He's saying there was no bridge between the old nucleus and the nucleus. I would argue Otto Porter Jr.
I don't think I'm not considering him that. I'm not.
Why? Tell me why though. I don't necessarily disagree, but
because he wasn't part of the Warriors culture. The old heads were not deferring to him and being like, "Yo, we consider you one of us." Like if Andrew Wiggins,
but then wouldn't that make him in the old nucleus? Isn't the bridge, to your point, like the in between guy?
No. So, well, yes, he is the in between guy, but the old nucleus is like those three core guys, right? And then the bridge guy is going to be like the silent fourth.
So give me an example. Give me an example.
Okay.
So I can understand what you mean. Someone who's like young, but tied enough to the original nucleus to bridge to the young nucleus.
Honestly, Alex Caruso, he's the person that comes to mind.
But
the problem
from the Thunder, though.
The problem with the Warriors, the problem with the Warriors is that they held on to that old nucleus too long and didn't have a proper bridge. That's the problem with the Warriors. Now with the Thunder,
is that what it is, or did the new nucleus prove to be fake? To your point earlier,
they should have chose up.
Andrew Wiggins got paid and came back the next year, but
so they should have chose up. Then they should have traded Clay a little early.
No, but
That's
I'm just
a
saying.
fact.
No, but what I'm saying is the next year, their bet after winning the chip was we have this new nucleus that we'll transition to. Let's lock them up now, and they're gonna play their way into us being able to trade Clay next year, and that did not happen. They came back, and so you had to lock. So you had to lock back in on your old nucleus.
They should have. They were doomed to fail anyway. I think you're right and I'm right. I think they didn't have a proper transition from the old nucleus to a new nucleus. At the same time, that new nucleus did not prove themselves to be worthy of being a nucleus. They were fake nucleus. So I think both are true. Right. As far as the Thunder now, they're so young. We shouldn't even be talking about no new nucleus or old, the whole team is young except for Hartenstein and Caruso. They're not even old. The veterans are not even old. You know what I mean?
That's a fact too. That's a fact too. I'm not gonna lie.
Which is why they're scary. But
this team is not going anywhere. This is all people
but,
have to worry about.
Wait. Can I say this quick though?
Go ahead, and then I'll put a cap on it.
Yeah, you said something, Jerry, just now. This team is not going anywhere, but that does not mean that I think, because think about it. The Bucks technically didn't go anywhere, right? The Celtics didn't go anywhere. I mean, there's still a playoff team every year, right?
Yeah, no. The Bucks did go somewhere.
Yeah, the
Bucks went absolutely somewhere.
Okay? They're in the playoffs every year.
They
got injured. They got injured.
The Warriors fell off.
They got injured.
Warriors have made
I'm talking about the Bucks
almost every year.
Just making the
they won
playoffs
their
doesn't mean
games and got into the playoffs.
Wait.
Okay.
Just making the playoffs doesn't mean you didn't go anywhere.
Agreed.
Not going anywhere means you stayed at the top spot. That's what I'm talking about.
You don't know if that's going to happen.
Conference finals. Conference finals is not going anywhere.
You don't know if that's going to happen.
I know that for a fact. I know
no,
that
you
for
do
a
not.
fact.
No,
Yes,
you
I
don't.
do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, but
the
wait,
Rockets.
but his point is correct.
I don't care.
You can't say they didn't go anywhere if they don't
get.
Wait, you can't say they didn't go anywhere if they didn't make it back to the conference finals. Detroit Pistons making the Eastern Conference Finals 8 years in a row is not going anywhere. Even though they only won one chip, they didn't go anywhere. If you wanted to win the East, you had to deal with the Pistons.
Right.
That's not going anywhere. If you win a chip and then you bounce the first round next year, you win somewhere.
You want somewhere.
I think we need to reframe that in the era of parity.
Yeah, I agree about that.
We need to start reframing not going anywhere in the era of parity.
But we can't lose
The
all
Pacers
evaluations.
did
We can't remove consistency in its entirety from the evaluation of a team.
Can I just add?
You have to have
because
you have to have
claiming the
some
crown and
but
nobody's
being-
claiming the crown.
But being a good team and like anything happens in playoffs, right? Like we're not looking at each like thing individually, seeing what happened there.
Ain't
Not
nobody
making the conference finals.
How do we
Not making
evaluate?
the Charlotte
not making
Bobcats
to
are
the
not
conf-
making the playoffs anymore. Every team is good.
yeah.
But my question is, like, I get at the championship level, we're not holding folks to standards of repeats anymore because that has been proven to not be the era we're in. But are we extending that all the way down? Like we could still call a team good just because they make the playoffs now? Is it that much parity that making the playoffs makes you a good team? Like
nobody's going to appreciate this.
We're not even going to talk about getting back to a conference finals.
If the Clippers did not play the Nuggets, how far could they have gone?
But my point is, but they didn't because they lost
to the Nuggets.
My point is, we cannot. If a team is not even getting back to the conference finals, we cannot treat that as not a fall off. We can't. We can't go to that level. We can say not winning the chip 2 years in a row, you didn't fall off in this era, but we can't start saying that you can win a chip and then get bounced in the first round next year and you didn't fall off. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous at this point.
I mean,
that's
your first round. Yes, I agree with you. But did the Celtics fall off to you this season?
No, because they got injured.
Devastatingly so. Not just injured, devastatingly so. But you're right. To your point, even if Sam didn't get hurt, if they lost that second round, I would say yes, you fell off. They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals 5 of the last 7 years. Them not getting back is falling off.
And they went somewhere.
In fact,
their whole team is for sale right now. Okay, so they definitely went somewhere.
The whole team, that's different. The whole team was going to be us. You mean like the play? Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So if
And
they
actually,
made
they're
it back
perfect
to the Eastern
they're
Conference
perfect
Finals next
example.
season, they're back on. Like
Yeah.
let's say the team
We
didn't
can-
get injured,
Yeah, but
so they
yes,
fall off and get back on.
yes.
I think
But-
that's a
but-
delusional way of looking
That's
at it.
no,
kind of
but
crazy to me.
they're actually the perfect example of me saying that we're not in an era where we can't use conference finals appearances as a standard, because even in this era of different champions in the East, someone is sticking around. If you want to win the East, this has been the first year in a long time winning the East hasn't gone through Boston. So I actually reject any notion that we're not stopping at the conference finals with this conversation, because even in today's era, there are mainstays in conference finals level.
Like the Indiana
one.
Pacers. No, there's not. The Indiana Pacers did
Talk
not
about
go
it.
anywhere.
They're
The
two-time
Indiana
conference finals
Pacers
appearances, right?
did not go
so this
anywhere.
idea that we can now reduce sticking around, quote unquote, to just making the playoffs is ridiculous. When we have teams that are making multiple conference finals appearances in a row. If you are not making multiple conference finals appearances in a row, you have gone somewhere. You have fallen off.
If you believe in the whole asterisk thing, how can you look at the Indiana
I'm not
Pacers
talking
making the
about
conference?
asterisk. That's not
But
my
that goes
conversation at all.
into it. That goes into it, though.
It does.
No, just because a team doesn't get, just because I don't hold a championship team up to other championship teams does not mean I'm putting an asterisk on it. That's, I think, the problem is that we're too polar in our evaluations. You're either one of the greatest teams you've ever seen, or your chip doesn't count. That's ridiculous.
No, I'm not. No. Okay, but I'm saying if you take into account what a team's path to get there, how are you looking at?
I'm not talking about the
Indiana
path
Pacers
anymore,
winning
though.
it?
I'm not talking about the path anymore, though. We're talking
It
about.
goes into what I'm saying. So just making
Just
the
let 'em
conference
win,
finals,
let
no
'em
matter
win.
what happens.
You can't ignore the path.
Yeah, like you're just making the conference finals.
Based on the argument you were making about the Thunder earlier, you can't ignore the path.
I don't see how it connects to what I'm saying now, though. What I'm saying now is that when you're talking about evaluating how good a team really is, the path is one way to evaluate it. We've moved on now to talking about what they do the next season. That's what we're focused on, right? You're saying just making the playoffs validates how good of a team they are. If all they do the next year is just make. Well, okay, then clarify, because that's what it sounds like.
What I'm saying is not making it to the conference finals doesn't invalidate it.
I think it kind of does. I think it kind of does.
But
how can it not?
Because
you're looking at it holistically. Just
tell me what I'm missing.
If I am a 60-win team and I lose in the second round because I don't know, this team got like a couple. It's been 7 games and something happened. I don't know. I'm not looking at it as a fall off. If I'm still as good, my roster's the same. Everything, like just losing one series.
How can you say
I have
that?
a slightly different perspective, but I kind of agree.
How can you say that when in today's era, in both conferences, we have seen repeat attendance? Because we're also forgetting that this is the second Timberwolves appearance in the conference finals, right? So if there are teams in each conference that are returning to the conference finals, so we cannot say the parity. We're not seeing completely new conference finals appearances every time. So if that level is still consistency, how can you say not getting back isn't a commentary on how good you are?
The real issue is that nobody has taken the crown in the NBA. And everybody wants to say SGA did, but we don't know if he did because we got to see him do it again. And I know you're saying it's a different point, but it is not. Let me finish, right? The issue is this, right? If you win the chip, right, in the previous eras, so usually it was the best player that won the chip, and they won at least twice, right? At least twice in a few years or something like that, right? Usually that was the case. The past 7 years, we had a different champion every year. Right?
Yes.
Now we're trying to reduce it to conference finals, but the people that we're talking about, most of them didn't even win the chip except for the Celtics. Right? So what are you even doing? Right? If you are falling off, to me, that means you won the chip and then you didn't win again. Right? At least you didn't get to the finals. I say that. Right?
That's what I'm saying.
No, but you said even conference finals. And what I'm trying to say is this: in this era, it's 7 years, but in this era, winning, if you just win. Wait. Last sentence.
What you're
Last
saying
sentence.
is harsher.
It is
than me.
harsher. It is harsher.
So
But
then why are
listen,
you arguing with me?
because I don't agree because I'm saying just because you won one chip doesn't mean that you've arrived. So
That's what I'm saying.
No, but did you really fall off then?
That's really what I'm saying, honestly.
Okay, well,
That's
not what you said though.
Well, it goes to what Alan's point where I said it does kind of invalidate it. That is where I'm at. If you don't even get back to the conference finals last year, bro, you're a champion. I'm not putting an asterisk, but I'm not rating your championship and your team up there. Like the Dallas Mavericks, they got a chip. Cool. I'm not rating the 2011 Mavericks in my top 20 of championship teams.
Even though they beat the big three.
Yeah, because it was a flash in the pan. You didn't even get back to the conference finals the next year.
You can look at it and
sometimes teams get hot and they get good matchups and they go on runs. And this era has shown us that the champion every year just happens to be the team that gets hot and goes on a run. But these teams are not showing that they're consistently great.
Or they're the best.
See, my thing is the way I look at it is the era. It's a critique of the era. I'm not critiquing the team necessarily. Right, because I can't agree with that 2011 chip not being.
If you're critiquing the era, you're critiquing the quality of the teams in the era.
Yes, but at the same time, it's like
we don't have dominant teams. We haven't seen a dominant team in 7 years. That's what this era is. This era is there is no dominant teams.
But at the same time, I don't want it to look like, oh, I'm saying we need super teams again. No, the problem is
no one's saying that. We've seen dominant teams. We've seen dominant teams that weren't super teams. In fact, I would say the biggest thing going for the Thunder is that they looked dominant this year and they weren't a super team because dominance used to be fueled by building organically. The Lakers back in the 2000s were built organically. The Spurs back in the 2000s were built organically. The Warriors in the 2010s were built organically. So I would say the biggest indicator of this team potentially being a dynasty is that it's built organically, but they still have to prove it to me because if they get bounced in the first round next year by Steph or they get bounced in the second round next year by Luka, I'm not going to rate them like that.
If they lose to KD in the Rockets,
I'm not rating it
in the conference finals.
I'll be like, okay, I will let it go.
But if they matched up somehow in the second round, now you don't care. Now it's like,
correct.
Oh, no, that's like,
correct.
That's crazy. No, that's a little too correct. That's a little too
correct.
Much. That's a little
too much. You gotta get it done. You know why? You gotta get it done because that goes back to you gotta kill multiple kings argument to end this all. Because no one was giving Kawhi a pass for the fact that he had to deal with Joel Embiid in the second round. No one was giving Kawhi a pass that he had to deal with Giannis in the conference finals and still go to the finals and have to deal with Steph and KD.
And that's why Kawhi is greater all time.
Right. Exactly. So that's my question is if Shea is who we say one of them, he's got to be prepared to get to that level where you might have to catch a KD in the second round. And you might have to beat a KD in round 2.
You ain't have the energy for Tatum, though. I don't like that, but go ahead.
I did have that energy for Tatum. And when he won his chip, it didn't happen because he had to deal with a Brunson in round 2 and he was about to lose. So I do have that energy. That's
you were a little more optimistic about Tatum.
Interesting.
I was.
Yeah. I remember that. Well, go ahead.
I was. Yeah. But that's also why I'm doubling down on this because, like, the last guy. Because I'm processing the new evidence. The guy that I thought was on a trajectory to do that, and who I thought in that finals showed signs of development, it didn't happen. He came back the next year and he played well.
Signs of development, like y'all say he did. But go ahead.
And this is what I'm asking about Shea. You're trying to give him the cop out of it's not his role, but that's not gonna fucking matter when you have to walk down KD in a second round, or you have to walk down Luka in a second round. Okay,
I'm saying he might not have to because the quality of the teams is a little different. It's a little different. The Knicks,
we'll see.
The Knicks at that when Tom Thibodeau has his head on straight. And something right is a different animal.
Barring
this is Taylor Jenkins in here.
Let's get Taylor Jenkins in. This is going to be a super wild card, right? Barring the unfathomable.
You're going to say something about the Lakers?
No, because I'm talking about the Knicks in the East.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Barring-
he's gonna.
Barring the unfathomable, I want to say right now,
Trying
I
to
think
jinx us.
this is unfathomable. But I have to acknowledge that it is a potential reality, and it would be a very funny one. Barring the Philadelphia 76ers
Or not.
somehow miraculously
Yeah.
not only having a very healthy season, but that team clicking, you should walk into the finals.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the only
100%.
reality I can imagine of you not getting to the finals, or Orlando taking a jump and Paolo taking a jump, which you should be afraid of.
Desmond Bain is a problem.
If Paolo takes a jump, or the Philadelphia 76ers put it
Yeah,
together.
okay.
Jalen Suggs needs to take a jump.
That's a fact too.
No,
The whole
Paolo
team
takes
needs
a
to
jump.
get jumping.
Again,
Why
my point.
those guys some jump ropes? You gotta get
Superstars
those.
elevate their role players. If Paolo takes a jump, everyone on that team is going to look better all of a sudden.
Jalen Suggs not just gonna get a 3-point shot just because Paolo is better.
Yes, he damn will.
All right,
He better start now.
I've
We've
watched
seen
it
that
happen.
before.
I've watched it happen.
It didn't work with Andre Roberson. I'll tell you that.
Oh no.
It didn't.
Y'all remember
But
his
that's
Lamp
because
Hoops
that's because
Oh.
there was a jump that one of those players did not take.
Oh, that's why. Oh my goodness.
I've always said that about the Thunder. I always said that the arrested development of Russell Westbrook is why that team never clicked. I've always said that.
Boy.
Period. Also, speaking of KD and the Rockets, we've known that KD is not the guy who's going to elevate his teammates. So you had two guys that don't make their teammates better. You had two guys that only had a contender because the two of them were literally unstoppable.
You know what? Actually, we're doing all this talk. I'm gonna tell you who's gonna make it to the finals next year. Whoever
Luka
has
Doncic.
whoever has the will and the bag to go acquire Drew Holiday. Because let me tell you something.
So what if the Lakers get Drew Holiday?
Oh my goodness. Nah,
Hey,
nah,
man,
I don't want
listen.
that. I do not want
I've
that.
seen
I
it-
am saying
I've seen
it
it twice.
publicly. I don't want that to happen.
I have
But what
seen
if it does? But
Drew
what if it does?
Holiday.
Nah,
Drew Holiday's
Do you know who
first
on the
year.
owner is?
Chill out.
And now we could let's transition and get to the offseason talk and wrap this up soon. Do you know who the new Laker owner is?
Boy.
I know
He
nothing
owns
about
the
this.
Dodgers.
He owns the Dodgers. If you know anything about baseball, do you know how they move?
No,
Like the
they
Yankees
spend it like
for
crazy.
the 2000s.
They moved like the Yankees in the 90s.
Money is no object
They
to
don't give a
that.
damn about that second apron.
No.
That second apron is a piss in the bucket for him.
What does this man do? Hold on. Why is he so rich?
So
That's a good question. What
Portland
does
has
it-
let Drew Holiday go before. If we get Drew Holiday and Nick Claxton,
Nah, if y'all get Drew Holiday,
Drew
a lot of
Holiday
teams are
is such a winner, man.
I'm
Like,
telling you,
such a winner. Like,
I can't believe the Celtics did this. This is a mistake.
correct.
Showtime.
Showtime. Correct.
I mean, you spelled it
I don't
wrong, but
like.
that's
I don't
okay.
like. Listen, I want Shea to get all his
Showtime.
flowers, but when you talk about the West and you talk
Showtime?
about this league,
Otan,
when
show
you talk, yeah,
me
Showtime.
Otan. Yes.
Shea deservedly has the crown now, but when you talk about this league overall and specifically the Western Conference, we're not about to forget Luka Doncic exists. For all the criticism of the weight and the defense we have, Paul, I remember the way you were talking about Luka last year, and I'm not gonna let you just back down from that.
Yeah, he proved me wrong. Like how Tatum proved you wrong.
Did he,
Oh.
or did Kyrie not play well at all? Let's really talk about that finals. Did Kyrie not stink it up?
Oh, now we blaming Ky because Luka's now a Laker now. Now all of a
That's
sudden,
business.
because I remember a time where
Did I
if I
not-
said
did I not-
anything
did I
about
not say that
Kyrie
at the time?
Irving, if
Did I
I
not
said
say that at
anything
the
about
time?
Kyrie Irving's performance, people would be like, "Oh, nah,
Not
you
for
can't say-
me. Not for me.
Yeah, all right.
I didn't.
Very
I wasn't a Kyrie defender in that finals at all. Pull the tape. I sat there every finals game watching, waiting for Kyrie to be Kyrie. I was like, one of these games, is it going to happen? Is Kyrie going to go Kyrie mode? It never happened.
Regardless, though, Luka was the biggest issue in my opinion.
I
You know why?
I actually disagree with that.
Luka offensively made up for Kyrie's lack of.
Not enough.
No, offensively
Not
he
enough.
did Defensively, he canceled
That
it
team,
out. That's the
Luka
problem.
carried that team on his back to the finals. But when they got in the finals, remember I broke down their starting five and pointed out how flawed it was.
Yes,
They had
yes.
Derrick Jones Jr. starting as their 3 guard in that finals. They were never winning a chip.
That was kind of nasty.
They were never winning a chip. It was miraculous that they got to the finals, and that was off the strength of Luka.
Yeah, but
the
then
Timberwolves should have won that series 1,000%.
no.
The only reason you say that is because the Mavericks had Luka.
Because they didn't. That's the only reason.
No, you say that because you can't imagine Luka losing to that team. That's the reason.
The problem is, I think the jury is
same
out
thing.
on Luka.
Draft again. Let's do a draft. You take the starting 5 of the Mavericks and the starting 5 of the Timberwolves that year in a draft. After Luka, you're taking at least 3 Timberwolves before you take another Maverick.
Kyrie.
He's debatably one of the 3 that you take in the next 3 picks. Because I argue you take Ant next, and then it's an argument: are you going to take Cat or Kyrie third?
Yes.
Right. So
I think the problem is that
so the difference is what? It's Luka.
I think the problem is that I forgot. Why am I forgetting the Celtics coach's name? He exposed Luka so badly that I think everybody's just gonna do that now from going forward.
I think that's
and he let the cat out the bag.
I think that's what stood out, but I think so. The Celtics could score, yes. When a team can score against you too easily, is that potentially a fatal flaw to losing a series? Yes. That does not erase your inability to score against them in key moments. That's equally an issue. Yes, eventually the team that gets the stop is going to win. And if it's likely that you can't because you have a guy that can get attacked, that's a problem. But again, I keep bringing it up. That was true for a lot of the Steph Warriors team, that a team could try to exploit Steph in the clutch. The problem was you were not going to stop the Warriors. They were going to get a bucket, and likely they were going to get more possessions than you. And that was absolutely not true of the Mavericks. The Mavericks had a terrible time of possession in that series. They did not get up a lot of shots. And when it got to important moments, they could not score. They couldn't score.
But at the same
they
weren't a lot of important moments, though.
And you know why? Because they also, in addition to not being runs don't happen because you're getting scored on. That's not the definition of run. The definition of a run is one team is scoring and the other isn't. If both teams are scoring easily, you get a shootout. That's a very different scenario than a run and a blowout.
Sounds
the
like
Mavericks were not. No, but you could say that. But if it were a shootout and they were losing, I'd say yes. They're having a shootout, and because they had Luka, they weren't the team to get the stop. But if you have teams going on 20-0 runs, that is not a factor of defense. That is you not being able to score.
I hear you.
20-0 means you did not score for 20 possessions.
I understand what you're saying, but Luka was so good offensively that he really did overcome a lot.
He didn't though. Go look at the box scores. Go look at the final scores. They weren't in a lot of those games. games,
because Luka was getting abused.
But hear how that doesn't make sense, right? You getting scored on does not make you not be in a game. You could be getting scored on crazy, but if you also score, you're going to be in the game.
I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I just disagree. Look,
Luka, if you come down and score, and I come down and score, and you come down and score, and I come down and score, it's a tie game. Now, when you score on me, it could look dumb easy, and you can say, "Damn, he can't guard," but it's still a tie game. If you come down and score, and you make it look mad easy, and then I come down and not score, people are gonna say, "Oh, he can't guard." But the reason why I'm down 4 is because I came down and didn't score. It doesn't matter how bad I was on defense if I come down and also don't score. Because I'm not scoring. The
Luka-less moments hurt the Mavericks a lot because Kyrie wasn't getting it done. I get that.
It couldn't score.
Even when Luka was on the floor, right? It wasn't as bad, but it was still bad because they were just attacking Luka. And then there were times where Luka, because you gotta understand, like the whole team was attacking Luka. The whole team.
I get it.
Whereas you had one man. So even though real quick, even though Luka,
because it looks bad, but mathematically and in the course of a game, that isn't actually going to be the reason why you lose a game, unless you're talking about the final possessions. If it's a tie game or a close game and you can't get a stop at the end of the game, then yeah, you can say, hey,
it wasn't
this guy. That's my point. That's my exact point. If it's not even close enough, then that is not the reason. You didn't even score enough to keep it close. It don't even matter whether you're getting stops or not. You can't score.
I disagree. Because I understand what you're saying.
That's just how it works.
That you're twisting the math a little bit.
Not really. Does anyone else have an opinion on this? Like,
not really. I'm kind of tired. I'm gonna be dead ass. I don't.
No, but just think about it. In basketball, right? We've seen shootouts before.
Yeah.
And when the shootout happens and one team buckles down and gets a stop and the other can't, then yeah, being able to get a stop is the narrative, right? But if you get blown out, what's the story of that game? How many shots were missed, right? If you get blown out and look at but if you get blown out, when you look at the team that lost his box score, what are you going to see? Terrible shooting percentage.
The Celtics went on them big runs those quick runs when Luka was out the game. When Luka was in the game, they would slowly just grow the lead because Luka would score some. They'll go back and forth, but then Luka will miss one. But then the Celtics will make one every time. And
that's kind of more to my point, right? If even when you do keep it close, your offense is totally predicated on Luka getting a bucket. That means you're not good. That means you're not good. Yeah, that means you're not good.
But you're not good. But if he's that good that he can actually,
but my point is,
worse to an extent is
even if he wasn't a cone, they would lose the game.
I don't know
because let's say the Celtics weren't able to get a bucket in a clutch easy.
The way Tatum was shooting, I don't know about that.
Let me finish. Let's say even if he wasn't a cone and the Celtics had to work hard to get a bucket, if you can't get a bucket, eventually a team as good as the Celtics, even if they have to work hard, they're going to get a bucket, and you are not. So even if you take away him being a cone, you don't even have to make him a stopper. Let's just take away him being a cone. We're not going to act like the Celtics weren't going to score, but we can see that the Mavericks literally were not, because they literally did not. So
Tatum was shooting horrible.
That's one guy. Everyone else was lights out. Everybody else was lights out
when they were attacking Luka. So if you have a hole in deep, you play defense on a string. Wait, come on, man. You gotta let me talk. You play defense on a string. If you shore up a hole in that string, it makes an impact everywhere else.
I'm sorry.
We're not gonna sit here and act like if we go look at the steps that Luka's gonna win is gonna go to the finals next year.
That Luka's he's not.
Anyway.
He's just not.
So you're not gonna take him off, Alan?
Yeah. You said what?
Not gonna take him off the screen, because he talking about the Lakers.
No, you're right. Because you're approaching next level. Actually,
you see how you see how I'm transitioning, and I take the heat, and I'm not trying to defend myself.
You see that, bro?
Right.
Next time I do gotta take you off, though. You're right.
The professional keeps everybody intact.
He is engaging with me. No one said a word.
I've been saying multiple words. What the hell are y'all talking about?
KD to the Rockets. Thoughts?
I'll tell you this. I don't give a damn.
I really don't care, and I have a hot take, but I'll go last.
Well, I'll say this. I don't know if it makes it. I don't know if I'm super scared like the Rockets, so to speak. But like to me, the whole situation is weird because I don't know how y'all feel about KD personally, but it's just weird to see him. The end of his career move like this. Like he should not be
very Shaq-like. Very Shaq-like.
We should not be viewing KD like this. You know what I mean? Like he, as nice as KD is, to see
Man's just getting passed around the league.
He's getting passed around. It's not just getting passed around. It's also like teams. He was getting denied by a couple of teams too. You know what I mean? Like
the Knicks.
Miami,
we didn't want him. We didn't want him.
The Knicks didn't want him.
Doesn't move the needle.
Exactly, and that's crazy to think about Kevin Durant like that. But it's also like partly like self-inflicted. It's kind of for his talent level. I'm saying for his talent level, it's kind of crazy to see how his talent level
with lack of leadership. He's not a lead on defense. He just comes to locker rooms and he tanks them. And they do good the first year.
Are you ready for this?
They do worse the second year. The third year they come ready for this. Hold on.
No, we're not. No, you're not. No. I'm going to ask you too. Because if you got something crazy to say, save it for last.
I'm not
this
done.
Is the most we're ever have agreed in life.
I'm not done.
I don't know.
He does okay the first year. It gets worse the second year. It's completely dysfunctional the third year, and then they got to blow it up in the fourth. This is the KD pattern. Listen.
Yes, that's correct.
The more I see him, it's so egregious to me how many superstar teammates he's had in his career that he can't win with. And Russell Westbrook gets all this hate for forcing bad teams into the playoffs. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna say Russell Westbrook is not nutso with his shot selection and the decisions he makes, but we need to start having equal smoke for KD because he's only ever won with the greatest shooter that God ever made. You can take the
two greatest shooters that if you want to really talk about.
If you really want to talk about it, the two greatest shooters that God ever made. That's who you need to go win 2 chips.
Paul, go ahead and tell me how the Rockets are going to be so good so I can get this take off.
Yeah, man. Listen. KD is one of the greatest scorers ever.
Scorers, good.
And he still is.
Scorers,
that's
good.
all. And that's all he is.
Correct.
And that is okay. Because I think the issue that y'all have is y'all don't really rate the Rockets as highly as you should.
I can't believe Paul is becoming a KD defender.
The Rockets were the second seed.
This is all for the sake of a take. He's hated KD for 7 years.
But why? But why though? All right then. He is he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest scorer ever, right? The Rockets' problem was Jalen Green. And I told you that, Farrell, that Jalen Green was the issue. This development that you were trying to like bolster up, that belonged to Amen Thompson and not Jalen Green. Jalen Green is on a team where he needs to be on, and KD is on a team that he needs to be on, right? Where he could just score, and that's it. Any smoke that y'all have for KD, you should have known that he is who he is when he decided to go to the Warriors.
I can't believe
that's not a move that an all-time great player makes. Point blank.
You ready?
In any scenario, the Rockets, their only problem was scoring. They fixed it completely. Amen has more room to grow. Dylan Brooks, you don't want to lose Dylan Brooks, but it is what it is. They're a problem, they're a threat, and they will challenge the Thunder and the Lakers next year. And I see the Timberwolves regressing.
You see them regressing.
You ready for this take? You ready for this take?
Yeah,
Watch this. Ready?
I'm gonna get my soundboard ready.
I'm about to go on a hot take rundown this pod. This is my first one. NBA fans, Kevin Durant has ruined the NBA. But it's not for the reasons you all were saying in 2016. Because he's done it these past 8 years since he's left the Warriors. People think he ruined the NBA by going to the Warriors and eliminating competition.
He did it by not staying.
No, it's not that he hasn't stayed. Ready for this? Kevin Durant has ruined the NBA because Kevin Durant, since leaving the Warriors, has gone on a generational run of going around the league and destroying young developing cores.
That's correct, actually. That's actually correct.
He has gone around the league to both conferences and absolutely obliterated
Slim Reaper
cores. And that's why there's such parity in the team. Because what the Thunder have done, he has stopped now 3 franchises from being able to do. He went to Brooklyn because they had a nice young core who made a playoff appearance, who could have stuck together and grown into something. What's happened to them now? Jared Allen in Cleveland, D'Lo, laughing stock of the league, Joe Harris out of the league, Spencer Dinwiddie, a journeyman. Destroyed their young core. He then saw Phoenix make a finals appearance with a young core. Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, DeAndre Ayton with the vet and Chris Paul. He went there, destroyed their young core. They're now at the bottom of the league.
Gordon, get out of here.
He now sees another young developing core. Second seed in the West, and he goes there and destroys their young core.
Jalen Green is not like that.
This is why we don't have any young up-and-coming collective nucleuses that are growing
because
together
of Kevin Durant
and getting good organically. Because every time one looks like it's doing that, Kevin Durant asks to be traded there and destroys it.
That's why he didn't ask to go to the Thunder. I'm surprised.
He is destroyed. No, because they won, so he can't. He can't do it. He can't sell them as I'm the missing piece to your success.
Right.
You should be glad he never went to the Knicks. He would have destroyed your core.
I agree.
I'm
100% glad.
I agree.
Thank God.
I noticed that a long time ago.
From Indiana. Who else is a young rising core?
Magic, the Orlando Magic.
Keep away from Orlando. That's next. I promise you, in 2 years, he's going to ask to be traded to Orlando.
If he's still in the league in 2 years. If he's still in the league.
He is the bedrock of the NBA. He has not let any promising young core grow outside of the Thunder.
Wait, okay, hold on. That's not entirely true.
NBA,
That's not
he's
entirely
ruined
true.
the NBA. It's a generational run.
That's not
of
entirely
destroying the hard work of GMs.
That's
and you know
not
what?
entirely
The
true.
GMs are complicit in it. It's their fault too. They keep buying the Kevin Durant dream.
It's only 2
franchises
he's done it to.
Him and Rich Klein keep walking into these offices and saying, forget the last 5 years of drafting and trading you've done and team-friendly contracts to build a young core that can grow in the next 2-3 years and be a contender. Why don't you blow it up? Give me 2 of those really nice young players and give me your future draft stock and take this 34-year-old, 35-year-old, 36-year-old, and now 37-year-old.
I have a question.
To do nothing, to go to maybe the second round and lose.
You know who else is complicit in that? If we're going to keep it a buck? James Harden.
But at least he isn't attacking young cores.
I mean, he kind of is. That's what he did.
He didn't attack young cores. Philly wasn't a young core. LA wasn't a young core. Brooklyn was no longer a young core. James just keeps trying to find the right co-star that's going to be the guy for him, which is a different affliction. But
I have a question. For you, Pharaoh.
He's ruined the NBA.
I have a question for you, Pharaoh. Which one of these players from these young cores that he's broken up has shown themselves to be as good as KD is
That's
today?
The worst part of it. We'll never know. That's the worst part of it. We'll never know.
I guess we'll never know.
Imagine.
I guess we'll never know.
Imagine. I don't want to pick an all-time great like a Kobe or LeBron. I want to imagine. Who do I want to use? Imagine. I guess I have to.
ISO Joe.
I guess I have to use someone that won a championship for the point to be proven. Okay. Imagine
what could have happened.
Wait, watch this. Imagine if in 2013
went to the Celtics.
No, imagine not. I'm not even going to use KD. Imagine if in 2013, who would have been the equivalent? In 2013,
Carmelo Anthony.
No, because he was in his prime. Who was on their way out of the league? Who?
KG.
Actually, KG did do it, believe it or not.
No, because the Nets didn't have a young core. They had nothing, and he just went there with a bunch of old guys, which is the respectable thing, which is what you used to do. That's what Olajuwon did. That's what Barkley did. That's what Malone did. You go and team up with a bunch of other old guys thirsty for rings and try to win one. You don't go destroy a young player's trajectory. So imagine in 2013.
That's making good points right now.
Imagine in 2013, KG requested a trade to the Warriors.
That's a
We
good
never
one.
get and for him they trade away Clay and Draymond
Yeah,
and picks
and draft assets,
and draft
yeah.
capital. Steph never becomes Steph. The Warriors dynasty never happens.
Does Clay become Clay?
Probably not.
I don't know
If-
about that.
If Clay in his third year gets traded away from the Warriors, I don't think he ever becomes Clay.
I think he becomes Clay just later in his career.
Nope. It may never happen.
I think
never happen.
Clay is like that, man. I don't. I think.
But we're not gonna act like
yeah,
where
but
you
like
get drafted
roles
and how you come up doesn't contribute to your trajectory.
It alters it, but I personally believe.
I think if Rudy Gay was drafted in Boston, Rudy Gay would have been a 10-time All-Star and possibly a 2-time champion.
No way.
100. It's hard to
Rudy Gay
think
was
of that
crazy, man.
because you only saw what he ever became.
Yeah, but no.
Vince
way.
Carter, better example. If Vince Carter ever played in a large market early in his career, we'd be talking about him different.
Superstar.
That's very true.
Superstar. This card would have been out of here. He's right about that.
What? So that's what KD's doing. Imagine that. Imagine KG requesting a trade to the Warriors in 2013 because they had a good little playoff run and they looked like they had a good young core, and he comes and destroys it and gets Clay and Draymond out of there. That's what's happening. So for as not good as you think Jalen Green is,
Or you could be a Tyrese Haliburton and go somewhere else and thrive. But none of the players that you say these young cores that you say he's broken up have turned into really anybody. So
Mikal Bridges didn't go to
even-
Brooklyn and become a quasi All-Star.
okay. Mikal is one.
Mikal.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Jared Allen didn't go to Cleveland and become an All-Star. 2 times.
I think
2
he was
times?
good.
2 times. Oh,
No, wait a second. Wait. You saying wait. KD though? Jared Allen's not touching KD.
no one said they have to become KD.
No, but they kind of do though. For this
No,
argument
because
to work.
Clay didn't become KG.
Paul, it doesn't have to.
Don't you
It
dare.
don't have to become KD.
Hold on.
I agree with his
Allen,
argument.
Hold on. Look at his
Okay.
face. KG and Ray Allen and KG and Klay Thompson are comparable in any sense, in any word, in any sentence.
Different positions, man.
Oh my!
Well,
But listen, Paul. The reason why I'm agreeing with Pharaoh is because I don't think they have to become KD, but it's mostly the fact is because 2 or 3 years later he then leaves and the team is left with nothing.
That's
Decimated.
the issue.
Decimated.
That's the biggest issue.
Because you know what? They never get back what they gave up for him either.
Exactly.
Never.
Because he manipulates.
That's the biggest.
Because he manipulates the trade to go where he wants.
Because
That's why it's ruining teams.
yeah,
really.
because he says he's not going to sign long term here or there, so therefore these teams are like, nah, it don't make sense.
Like
They have
think
to-
about
they have to trade
think
Jordan.
about what Phoenix
decided
gave
that.
up for KD and look what they got back.
Decided. They give so
that's true.
it's crazy. So where he goes gives up enough to fuck them, but not enough to replenish where he's leaving.
Exactly.
But they are championship contenders the whole way
They've
through.
never been.
For
The
2
Nets
years.
never were. The Suns never were.
The Nets weren't
I don't know
contenders.
about-
Come
Nope.
on, man.
At least
They didn't
one
even
year.
get to a conference
Come
At
final.
least 1
They
year.
didn't even get to a
Hindsight.
conference final.
At least 1 year we was contending.
Hindsight. They were contenders. Everywhere he went, they were contenders.
The Suns.
They were at
That
one
first
point.
year,
They were at one point.
that first year he was there, were they not?
No.
Yeah, no, they were. They were doing good. They were doing
This is going
I
back.
think
to the
you're a little
argument
too
that we
strict
saw
about what you're.
contender.
Yeah,
I'm not doing this today.
yeah.
For my argument, for what I'm
Yeah.
saying, ruining, no, none of them ever were. They didn't even touch conference finals. None of them ever were.
They had their.
That's
they
my
had-
take. Listen,
I'll
That's my
say this. I'll say this.
that's my take.
Outside
I'm
of
not
the
gonna
Suns,
argue it.
every team.
That's my take.
Okay, let me say outside of the Suns, every team you went to had a better chance of winning the chip with him than without him.
But they didn't. So what did they get for it? Other than terrible debt and a
Hindsight.
terrible.
Hindsight. Again, you're not wrong in that. I'll give you that. But
Okay, if you want to give the teams a pass because maybe it made sense, sure. I'm still laying most of the blame at KD.
I think the Nets were the ones that
You know
wanted
why?
them.
Because, and again, not to, I hate that. Actually, I don't even hate it. This is the main difference between him and LeBron. Forget about the treatment of their own legacy. Care for the league. As an elder statesman of the league, it's the way Alan says we shouldn't be looking at KD like this. KD shouldn't have done this to the league.
Correct.
Mm.
Correct.
He shouldn't have done. He shouldn't be
what should he
doing
do,
this to
retire?
the league.
So what should he do? Retire? Say it.
Grind.
Grind at 37.
Yes.
Ain't
What
no
is LeBron
grinding
doing?
happening at
What is
37.
LeBron doing? What is LeBron doing?
Kobe
He's
did
not
it.
grinding.
LeBron did
Stop!
it.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do. Come on. Get this late. No, stop it. You got Luka.
He's been in LA for 8 years.
Every
He's been
team
in
he goes
LA.
to.
He's been in LA. He's been in LA longer than any other team.
Every team he goes to, he goes with a squad. Every time, including LA. He just waited a year.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, but that's grinding.
I'm not talking about the acquisition of talent. I'm not talking about the acquisition of talent. Sure, grinding can be seen as growing and developing. What I'm talking about is staking your claim and saying, this is my kingdom and I'm going to get it done here. Now, how you go about getting it done, we can debate all day, whether that's grinding it out or getting talent. But you have an aura and you have a sense of self and a sense of place in the league that you say, I'm here. Here's where it's happening. It's going to happen here because I want to be here. This guy is always trying to go to where he thinks it is. And that's decimating the league. Shifting expectations. Brooklyn went from a young upstart team to now having championship expectations to being in the lottery. Phoenix, a team that was thinking were on a chance to repeat and be a powerhouse, to now being like, now you're underachieving, to now probably being in the lottery next year. Houston, same thing. It's number 2 seed, promising team. Now you immediately have championship expectations. And if he leaves, they're going to be in the lottery.
Who, Houston?
Yes.
I think it's different over there because they have a younger nucleus. They didn't break up the that's now that I think about it, they didn't truly break up the nucleus. We only said it because they got rid of Jalen Green. And I'm saying Jalen Green is just young. That doesn't mean he's supposed to be a part of the, he doesn't belong there.
Listen, that's my take.
He didn't belong in Houston?
That's my take.
Jalen Green, no.
Wow.
That's my take.
Amen is better than him. Amen
That's
is
facts.
a younger guy.
But Amen's not playing the shooting guards.
Even if Amen was better, that don't mean Jalen Green don't belong there. He could have been.
He doesn't fit with any of them. He doesn't fit with any of them play style wise. And development wise, everybody surpassed him like really quickly. So therefore, bringing KD for just Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green. I think this one might
you're putting a lot of evaluation on Jalen Green for having a poor first time in his playoffs at 22. You're putting a lot on that young man.
It's more than that.
What more is there? Because in the regular season, you're not saying that.
I would say what Gordon's saying is true. I feel like
you're not. You weren't saying for a single day until April or May that Amen Thompson was better than Jalen Green.
The reason I didn't say nobody cared enough for me to talk about it. But I saw Fred VanVleet doing a lot of the things that Jalen Green should have been doing throughout the regular season.
I know you're lying.
Remember, I still owe you 100 push-ups because I watched the Rockets.
Paul.
I watched the Rockets.
Well, it's so apropos that in the last season of the last episode of the season, I'm gonna catch you in another lie. I just posted a 30-minute video. Go check out our YouTube on me, Andre, and Paul breaking down Game 2 of Eastern Conference Finals, and I in real time caught Paul in 3 lies, and I'm gonna do it again today. You know how I know you're lying? Fred VanVleet was hurt for most of this season, and you know how I know that because I had him on my fantasy team. So stop it.
Most of the season when Fred VanVleet came back, he took control of the offense like he did in the playoffs.
What I'm saying is no one could reasonably have any argument that Amen was better than Jalen Green during the regular season.
No.
But Jalen, so you're making that brash evaluation off the fact that at 22 he had a poor playoff debut. That's a lie. That's a lie.
If you're talking about the comparison between the two, you have a point. But if you're talking about Jalen Green as Jalen Green, nah, he's been that. He's been that since last year. He's been that.
No, my only point is the comparison.
Well, as far as the comparison goes,
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, Amen Thompson showed up and improved rapidly at the highest leverage moments.
He had a good series because he had a good matchup.
That's not no. He played like Jalen Green, but better. So no, I don't want to hear that. Yes,
anyway, I don't want to get into it. That's my take. All right, cue up Allen's moment, and then I'm gonna have my final word. Allen,
I would cue it up.
The streets is talking.
Yeah.
Address it.
Read that.
Address
Cam
it.
Thomas.
Hey.
Cam Thomas, are you good?
Hey!
Are you good, Cam Thomas? For our wonderful audience, I saw a post today where Cam Thomas, they were talking about Cam Thomas might be making
Nets fans stand up
for 4 years,
Comment.
right? $100 million for 4 years. Me being the Nets fan of the pod, I comment that is a great deal, and that's a tradable contract. You can see the comments here if you watch on the YouTube. I can't remember what I said, but that's basically the gist of it. My man Cam I am responds to I said that's a great deal for us. I used we because I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, blah blah. Cam Thomas goes, we, what team do you run? Cam, my brother, I am a fan of yours, bro. I was not coming at you. If anything, I was telling you that is a great deal. We got you for the cheap. $25 million is cheap for a player of caliber. I could have went crazy on you.
Fans to be happy about getting him for the cheap.
That is fine. That is fine. But if I'm saying we getting you for the low, that's me saying you are a good player. Why are you getting tight at me when there's people in the comments calling you whack?
Because he wants more bread in his pocket, and you celebrating less bread in his pocket.
I could have went crazy. I could have called you Scam Thomas or something for more money. I could have went crazy, but I wasn't going to do that. You my mans. I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan. You my man.
But is he your? Are you his man's though? Are you his man's though?
I guess not.
You know what I'm trying to tell
you? I guess not. But
you know what's crazy?
It's cool. I'm gonna let it slide because it's a stressful situation. He in contract talks. I get it.
He said, "I know he out there sweating."
But Cam,
talk to him.
Cam, we good. I don't have no animosity in my heart. You're a Brooklyn Nets fan. I've been on this podcast calling you the king of New York and all that. So I'm not even mad, bro. Like,
when did you ever call him the king of New York? Hold on.
It was preseason. It was. I said on preseason, it was funny, it was jokes, it was cool because he was going off. Because again, I'm a fan, but we gonna let that slide. It's all cool. We would love you on the pod, my brother. But I hope you get your money. I hope you stay a Brooklyn Nets fan. If we trade you, that's cool too, because it's the business. I get it, but you good people. I like you. I watch your videos on YouTube. That you good. I mess with you.
What you gonna do when the Nets trade Jalen Green for him?
That's okay too. That's okay too. But like I said, it's a business.
He's coming on the pod. I don't think
it's a business. It's a business. I'm a fan.
You said you hope he gets his money.
I hope he gets his money too. I want that black man to get his money.
How much? Over 25K?
As much as
I'll
tell you what. Cam,
how much money we talking?
He said how much?
I hope he get what he's worth. I hope he get what he's worth. I put it that way.
What's that?
Listen.
Wait, can I tell you what's crazy? Wait, can I tell you what's crazy?
I don't run a team. I don't run a team, so I don't know how much he worth.
Wait, y'all know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? His lower comment said maybe y'all know something I don't because this is news to me. And then he deleted his comments, right?
Yes.
Well, in today's NBA, the internet be finding out stuff before the player do. So maybe his agent made a call and said, actually, brother, this is news that I hoped I'd be able to deliver to you first. But unfortunately, it seems you're already aware.
But because of Fastbreaks podcast, by the way.
In all seriousness, bro, I'm a fan. Let's not come on. There's mad fans in there that was very clearly talking crazy about you. I don't know why you chose my comment of all comments, but we would love you on the pod, bro.
So are you okay? You're gonna leave out the most important part though of one of your comments? When you talked about
Paul
Tradable.
seems to think. I was talking to Paul about this before. Tell me what y'all think. I was talking to Paul about this before. Paul thinks he got mad because I was like, "This is a tradable contract." But
I didn't see that in there.
I feel like it was like a second comment or a third comment, or it was like the second line. But I feel like that's still saying like we getting you for the low, like you deserve more than this. If you have a tradable contract, that means you are highly valued in the league. But
Right.
Listen,
All right.
y'all tell me if that was out of pocket.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
Breaking
Breaking news for
news.
the Fast Break Pod family. For those of y'all that live in the great city of New York, I won't take a side, but I'm just going to say that I am going to announce that your new mayor has been seemingly decided as a result of all the voting efforts today.
Oh, really?
It does appear that Zoran Mamdani
Oh,
is going to be
Good
the
for
next
him.
mayor of New York City. Andrew Cuomo has officially conceded. Breaking news on the Fast Breaks Pod: Zoran Mamdani appears to be headed for the mayoral seat, or at least the mayoral Democratic candidate. Let me not jump ahead.
Right.
But we know how New York.
Yeah.
Big facts. It's the city. It's the city.
So
for him.
that is your breaking news for any of you that were watching this pod and didn't think you can get some current news, breaking news, journalism.
Multifaceted.
Let me get some buttons, Paul. Breaking news. You're disconnected from your audio, brother.
Hey, my dad just told me, man.
All right, it's time. Paul, real quick, before you load it up, let me say this.
Wait, can I say something with some future news?
Sure.
With some great future news, because New York seems to be having a very bright future, or seemingly so. I just want all y'all to keep that in mind, because in 365 days, New York fans, we will be celebrating. We will be celebrating.
Take him off.
Oh my god!
Take him off.
You had us. You had us, man. You had me.
We've done a lot of talk. No, hold on. Clear out. We've done a lot of talking today about legacies and roads and comparison of players. We've even done a little bit of talking about, what if you put this player in this situation, or you put this player in this situation. And I had a very hot take about KD having ruined the NBA. There's a lot of conversation in the NBA media space about basketball ethos and philosophy, a lot of revisionist history, and a lot of attempts to shift the narrative and how we evaluate and address players. One of these conversations has been about ring culture and opportunity and skill. I have something I want to say. But before that, I want to address a point, because I know I'm Mr. Laker on here, and so obviously I rock with LeBron. I've said this before. Those of you out there that knew me when I was young, I was the biggest LeBron hater from the years 2007 until 2016. 2016 is when LeBron won me over, because I became a fan of LeBron bigger than basketball. Everything that man represented off the court, the whole movement behind him, the whole story, the family, I wanted to be on the right side of history supporting that outside of the context of basketball evaluation and just give him his flowers. As he comes to the end of his career, I am beginning to feel like he is taking advantage of that love and trying to impugn it into how we evaluate him as a basketball player.
I've been saying this for
James,
years.
the man, and LeBron James, the athlete, the legacy that he's built on that. He is trying to impose that onto how we look back at his career. With his media presence and his podcast, particularly this year, this goes back to me and Paul's big argument about his beef with Stephen A. The biggest reason why I was mad at Stephen A in that is because I can't believe he let LeBron James off the hook by stepping out of pocket, because we had him. But everything Stephen A has been complaining about LeBron, is starting to come to fruition.
Oh,
Everything that I disliked about LeBron and his basketball ethos when I was a child, I see him in his now position as he's about to transition. I see what he's about to do. He is about to take his crown as king and try to rewrite the fundamental philosophies of basketball. This man attacked one-on-one and isolation basketball.
mhm.
Oh,
He's been doing this
because we know that has never been your strength. That has never been your ability. He's now trying to devalue the value of that skill and that culture in basketball writ large.
Yep.
Now he is trying to attack ring culture and how we use rings in evaluating the greatness of a player. I think we have to remember, and I said this back in the day, there is a difference between talking about best and there's a difference between talking about greatest.
sound like Nomad.
Skill.
Shout out to Nomad.
Some people may have a strong argument that LeBron James is the best overall basketball player we've ever seen. I disagree, but I think it's a very strong argument. But when we talk about greatness, we have to acknowledge opportunity, advantage versus disadvantage, opposition, pressure, expectations, consistency, and rising to the moment. There is a player in NBA history who represents all those things, and most importantly represents the basketball ethos that I grew up with, that I acknowledge, in that winning is the most important thing. Not stats, not accolades, not personal achievement, winning. And that is what's hilarious about the anti-ring culture talk, is that they keep trying to say that greatness should not be evaluated by individual. It's a team sport. You're right. It's a team sport, which means what? Everyone who plays the sport should have team goals as their number one priority, because it is a team sport. You keep saying I shouldn't be evaluated by team success when you're evaluating me as an individual because it's a team sport. But you play that sport, which means you should be evaluating yourself by your success with your team because you chose to play a team sport. If you choose to play a team sport, your number one goal should be team success, which means winning. And there was one player in NBA history challenged by maybe only one other player who he called his big brother and who that man called his little brother, who prioritized nothing more than winning, who prioritized nothing more than team success, even though arguably outside of counting and accumulation, if we talk about era and impact, he probably was the greatest individual we've ever seen. If we talk about comparison to his peers at the time, there may have been, outside of Michael Jordan, no one who put more of a distance between himself and the second best player in the league than this gentleman. And yet he didn't care about any of that. He knew he would be evaluated by his rings, and he evaluated himself by his rings. When you ask him about his career, all he ever talked about was 04 and 08. He didn't try to rewrite narratives about what he did and didn't do. He didn't try to rewrite narratives about what his strengths and weaknesses are and try to frame them actually as strengths instead of weaknesses. He didn't try to say, well, they've always said this about me, but if you look at this, but I never get the credit. He talked about...
Clutch. This was Clutch. Clutch Sports did this. Clutch Sports did this. This is crazy.
That's crazy. Yo, someone call
Maverick did this.
Someone call him to make sure he's all right.
Come back here.
Someone call him to make
Get
sure
back
Clutch Sports didn't
in
take him out.
That's crazy. For our listeners, Farrell just got disconnected in the middle of his great rant, and I know he's going to be tight about it.
Now
But-
get back in here.
LeBron pulled up to his crib. That's what happened. LeBron pulled up.
They
to
can't
himself.
stop me. They cannot stop this truth. They can shut down my main camera. They can shut down my main mic. The truth is going to set the basketball world free.
Rich Paul.
Yo.
Obviously, I am talking about, and you know what? This was for the best because now
Yo,
the
watch out.
camera
LeBron's in
angle,
the corner.
the camera angle could show the man that I'm talking about.
Yo, who's that? Who's that coming up the back? Is that Braun?
Andre, stop ruining the moment, man.
We want to talk about being a competitor. Being a competitor is more than winning your individual matchup. Being a competitor is beating your opponent.
Yes.
And that's why this stuff is so nefarious. Because all these prior competitors to this man want to talk about what they did as an individual and what they did in one-on-one matchups. I hate whatever. This man would not jack anything he did against you if you won. It did not matter. It did not matter to him. And you all as competitors, what pisses me off, and I'm talking to you, Tracy McGrady. I'm talking to you, Gilbert Arenas. And I'm talking to you, LeBron James. The part that pisses me off is that not only are you lacking competitiveness in your lack of applying competitive nature to winning, you talking like this today in 2025 shows me how much not a competitor you are. You know why? Paul.
Hey, the clip.
Kobe Bryant is not this and not that. You didn't have that energy when he was here.
You didn't have it.
Where was that energy when he was alive?
Where was it?
And stop bringing this man who passed to extend your narrative.
Wheel it. Say it again, Rashad. Say it again, Rashad. Say it again, Rashad.
It's not this and not
Say it
that. You
again.
didn't have that energy when he was here. Where was that energy when he was alive? And stop bringing this man who passed to extend your narrative.
Run it back one more time. I don't think they heard us in the back.
Why would Kobe be in the
I
conversation
don't
for
think
you
they
to
heard us in the back. You didn't hear this in the back. Because all y'all talking real big today on your mics and your podcast. But I saw you sat next to this man in interviews in 2009. I saw you sit next to this man in interviews in 2018. And you know what I saw?
not this and not that. You didn't have that energy when he was here. Where was that energy when he was alive? And stop bringing this man who passed to extend your narrative. Why would Kobe be in the conversation for you to kill him off so LeBron can live higher than him? It don't make no fucking sense. Let the man rest. Let's keep him wherever everyone has him. If you got him one, you got him two, you got him three. We don't need nobody trying to push him down, push him away so somebody else can be elevated. LeBron gonna be LeBron.
Because that's what y'all are trying to do. Because if you a real basketball fan out there, all of this actually should be affirming to you who this man is and where you should hold him. Because in order to make themselves greater, they have to attack the fundamental ethos of basketball they've been evaluated
the game itself.
And the man who represents that is Kobe Bryant. So they have to attack him because he is the symbol of this game. To today, they can't challenge these tenets of how you look at a player. They can't challenge these tenets of what it means to be great at this sport and not be challenging him. And so his name keeps coming up because you can't run from it because it's the biggest and most monumental influence since 2001 to today. And it's disgusting.
You hear?
You got kids now talking about he was never the best player in the world. When your GOAT, the GOAT you pour honey on, I got 3 interviews on YouTube I can pull up of him telling you
in 07, in 08, and in 09 that he's the best player in the world. Let alone what the media narrative was. He said it him damn self. When you go and watch the Redeem Team 1 and 2, when it's the arena of all the best players in the world,
on his body.
When it's the arena of all the best players in the world, and the game got close, it wasn't even a question of who we go to.
It's a fact.
You niggas make me sick.
You know what?
His shoes are better than yours.
Oh, no.
His logo is better than yours. His name was prettier than yours.
That's a fact.
He's more iconic.
The fact.
His slogans are catchier. His commercials were better.
And the game ain't been complete since he's been gone.
Commercials were better. You ain't lie yet.
And you know, when he passed, God rest his soul, I told me I wasn't going to be a person that contributed to gassing him more than deserved because he passed, because that's what I was afraid of.
Right.
That he'll be overgassed,
Right.
which would lead to resentment.
Yeah.
And confusion. That people will be like, oh, that can't be true. Y'all just saying that because he died. And what the sadder thing is in fact, it's the opposite.
Yep, we said it before here. It's the opposite happening.
It's the opposite.
Crazy.
Without him being present, and it's not even because I think he would challenge it, because he didn't care about what none of y'all said. He never did.
Right.
He didn't rate none of y'all's opinions. That's also what's crazy, is a lot of y'all wouldn't even be on these platforms if he was here, because he would be there. Let's really talk about it.
Man.
Let's really talk about it.
What was that ESPN segment?
Detail.
Detail.
That would have been the number one sports podcast in the world. He would have had his own ESPN show. They would have been calling him in.
This is hilarious.
Now that he's gone, all y'all get to give y'all opinions. Y'all the next best minds we could go to.
The next best.
And y'all take that opportunity to put smut on his name.
That's crazy.
Y'all gonna tell me he was benefiting from playing with Shaq. Like y'all wasn't there. Young kids, I forgive you, but you need to go to YouTube and you need to go to Google and look at the numbers he was putting up at 22 years old. Talking about Jalen Green, I want to give him grace for what he was doing at 22 years old. But you know what? Maybe I should hold him to a higher standard, because look what that man was doing at 22 years old. Fourth quarter, you couldn't go to Shaq.
Nope.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, that man averaged 38. All 38 points were in the first 3 quarters of the game in the playoffs. You know who was scoring 15 points in the fourth quarter to seal games at 22? And I'm talking about the first run. I'm not even talking about 02 when he cut the head. I'm talking about the first run. Taking the Spurs out. Taking the Kings out. A lot of people want to call superstar duos 1A, 1B. We ain't never actually seen a 1A, 1B since. We ain't never seen a superstar duo where there was legitimate debates about who was better. Y'all want to tell me y'all wasn't sure who was better between Kobe and Tracy. We weren't sure who the team belonged to. And you know why? That's not even a fan saying that. Shaq said that. You know who was the first person to call Kobe the greatest player in the world? Shaquille O'Neal. When Kobe was jocking Michael Jordan, showing up to finals games in a Michael Jordan jersey, they won a chip. Shaq in the locker room said, take that off. You need to put your own jersey on.
You know.
Stop it. Stop it. You lucky Vanessa keeps it cute.
Mm.
Oh.
You lucky Natalia. You lucky Natalia isn't a media personality. You lucky Rob Pelinka has other things that he has to prioritize, and you better prioritize them, Rob.
it's
But honestly,
really...
you know who I smoke for as well? Magic. Where are you?
Wait.
Where's
Give
Shaq?
him time. Give him time.
Magic, where are you?
Give him time.
Kareem, where are you?
Kareem
Rest in
should-
peace, Jerry Buss. You was holding it down. Shaq, you do it when you're on TNT. I'll give you that. On TNT, you often bring up why does he get skipped. Shaq, hold it down. Ron Artest, I saw you kikiing in the arena.
Wait, what happened?
I saw you politicking in the arena.
He didn't take a stand. That's what he said. He was laughing it up.
Lamar Odom, I give you a pass.
We know why. Go ahead.
Even though he partially saved your life, but that's a story for another day. Don't worry about that. Who else? Those are the main ones. Phil Jackson, they don't want to hear from you right now. You probably hurt more than help. So thank you actually for being quiet.
Derek Fisher, where you at? Come on, D Fish.
Byron Scott.
He's all over NBA TV.
And you know what? Honestly, T-Mac might be one of the most egregious I've heard because Kobe done nothing but give him flowers the entire time. You know what though? Here's the thing, right?
You say it's the most egregious. I'm cool with him believing that because it's him he's talking about. No. Because no. When you're that good, you're supposed to have a delusional type of confidence, right? So I could excuse it for him. Everybody else,
but you know what it is? I'm tired. It's what I said before. I'm tired of him being the example. T-Mac, if you want to have an argument about anti-ring culture and make an argument that if you were in a different opportunity, you would have won, use someone else.
Exactly.
Wrong.
Bro, you gotta use anybody. His injuries
someone
alone.
else. That's what I'm talking about. It's subliminally happening here. They keep using him as the example for these conversations because he is the symbol.
You know what?
Yeah, they want to attack. They want to attack these tenets of ethos, of basketball ethos, and he is the embodiment of it. That's nasty.
But I'm not gonna accuse Tracy of that though, because Tracy did say he would win the chips if he was in the position. You understand what I'm saying?
Use a different example.
It's hard.
Use a different example.
I know why
there have been when Tracy McGrady was drafted in 1999 and retired in 2015.
No, not even that. I think it was like 2014 or something. 13.
So he played for 17 years.
Yeah.
There were 17 chips that were won while you played that you could have used.
Come on, man.
By guards? Man. By guards? No, not by guards. Not by guards.
By guards?
No.
Yes. You think there was a starting shooting guard on every team that won a championship.
But we talk about. You didn't see. You see. This is weird.
You didn't see. Hold on. 7 of those teams. 7.
You're on mute.
Stop. At least, actually, let me count. There's 5 Laker championships that have Kobe on it. There's two Miami championships that have D Wade on them. So that's 7 right there. That's 7 right there. Don't forget the Spurs with Manu on them.
You're on mute.
Don't forget the Spurs that have Manu on them. So we're up to 10.
You didn't say Manu Ginobili. You didn't say Dwayne Wade. You didn't say Rip Hamilton.
Yup.
Because he believes he's
you didn't say Ray Allen.
I think he believes that the only person that's as good as him or better is Kobe. It's almost like a sign of respect from him.
No,
everybody else.
No, you know why I'm not jacking that? Because Kobe isn't the only person we put in front of him. So if he's mad about where we put him because he didn't win, you got a lot of other players in front of you.
Shooting guards? No.
Yes. I got
Jordan.
Name your top 5 shooting guards right now.
Yeah, you could have said D Wade.
Name your top 5 shooting guards right now.
Matter of fact, you can
Jordan, Kobe,
AI.
Unless you're gonna call him a point.
Yes.
Unless you're gonna call him a point.
Never was a point guard.
He's not a point. He's not a point. He's a shooting guard that they forced
Jordan, Kobe, Wade, AI,
Harden,
who doesn't even have one. So you're not addressing that, huh?
Yeah, honestly, he's the better.
We got people in front of you that don't have a ring. So why you go? Mr. McGrady.
If we're gonna
I got Ray Allen in front of him.
I was gonna say
do.
Ray
Oh,
Allen
damn.
next.
I do.
Me too.
It would be
I
really
don't know.
funny if
I
you
don't
come.
know.
You know
out
who else
and
is
say
in
you
front of
talking
him?
about
Clay. Clay's in front of him. For
Now
sure.
you're wilding. Now you're
No,
wilding.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
Now
If you
you're
said
wilding.
Ray Allen, you said Ray Allen. though. Come on, man.
Ray
I
Allen
got
is
Clay.
way better than-
I got Clay
Allen is
over
way
Ray
better than-
Allen.
Clay over Ray.
Oh
I-
no,
he's right.
no.
Ooh.
Clay's
You're
number
only
6.
thinking of Boston. You're only thinking of Boston.
Yeah, you're not thinking
No,
of
I'm not.
Boston.
Clay
thinking
had
about-
37 in the
I'm thinking
quarter.
I'm thinking about the
You're
second
wilding.
greatest
You're wilding.
shooter.
Stop
I'm
the
talking
Clay.
about-
We're gonna have a conversation about Clay.
Clay
talking
has
about
never
the second.
averaged 25 points
Clay-
a game in his life.
Clay could have
never
been
needed to.
great. Clay could have been greater.
It didn't
than
happen.
the
Now you
stats
sound like
show.
him. Now you sound like T-Mac. I'm sorry, that wasn't your
No,
story.
but like I said, I'm not mad at T-Mac. Everybody, Gilbert Arenas is somebody who I look at the most because he's doing what you said that we shouldn't do, which is break down and demolish the tenets of the game in order to make himself look greater. That's what I don't like. I think T-Mac literally believes
He's
he
not
would
the only one
want
doing it. Don't duck it. Who's really doing that? Who has a whole platform dedicated to doing it right now?
LeBron James.
I said Stephen creating the narrative. Y'all were on Stephen A. talking about how
Because he
y'all
messed
need to
up.
do better.
Because he messed up.
Specifically
Because he
about
messed up.
one thing. I
Yeah.
100% agree. LeBron manipulates narratives. He's done that his whole career. The Stephen A. thing was specifically about one thing, but I agree with what
And that's why I
And
was
I
mad at him
said.
because he was right on everything until he was wrong.
And I
Right.
think that what LeBron is doing is worse than anything Stephen A. did.
Yeah, for sure. That's not even
That's
a hot
why
take.
I was so heavy on like, look, you could, yes, I agree what you said about Stephen A. Yeah, you making good points, but let's not act like what LeBron is doing isn't crazy.
No, it is. Because here's the reality of it. The only I seriously mean this. And I seriously mean this. And Pharaoh said it before, or he was alluding to it. And I say it, and I'm gonna say it directly. The only way that you can put LeBron at number 1 and say he's the GOAT is to eliminate every single marker of excellence we've had before. Every single one. Everything we valued about basketball. I'm dead serious.
Not all of them.
Nah, he's not lying. He's not
Every
lying.
single
No, not all
one.
of them.
Not
Not
all
all
of
of
them.
them.
Not
Not
all
all
of them.
of them.
Never seen stream.
That's hyperbolic. But
Not
I think
All
you're
of them,
making
but
a
a
good
lot
point.
of them. You know what I'll
Yeah.
say personally? It's all the ones that I care about the most.
It's the ones that winners care about the most.
It's all the ones that I care about the most, which is why I hated him as a kid. Because I was like, you have none of the things that I feel are the most important.
Correct.
You're great and you have a lot of things.
Correct.
All the
And
areas that
quiet
I
is kept.
most care about, you lack.
And quiet is kept. Quiet is kept. And I said this before, we're in the middle of your rant. I don't know if y'all heard me. Since the moment Kobe's been gone, the game ain't been the same. Because now they have no real voices to lead this culture.
So what's LeBron and the Mind the Game podcast?
Leading them astray.
LeBron, he's
Oh,
a
man.
false narrator.
A false prophet, if you will.
A false prophet.
That's crazy.
Wait, yo, all right.
False prophet.
So I have my 5, right? I got Jordan, Kobe, AI, Allen, and Harden, right? I might throw Clyde Drexler in there.
There you go.
Yeah.
I already said Ray Allen. I already said Ray Allen, right? I already said Ray Allen.
You don't got Clay
I
in this
Vince?
mix?
Vince,
Hold on, I have mad players before I get that. I got Reggie Miller has to have a conversation in this conversation.
Yes.
George Gervin has to have a part of
Yes.
this conversation.
Yes, man.
he was a shooting guard.
Yes,
Yep.
he was.
Okay.
Only after
PBA's
those 9
finest.
players, do I think Tracy McGrady maybe rounds out as number 10.
That's wow. Dr. J, or you're not counting the
Small
eight?
forward. He's small forward.
That's a good point.
But yeah, he's a small forward, I would say.
Is he? He's 6'6". I guess.
Position, not height. Because Tracy McGrady's 6'9", so but we're calling him a 2.
I never really considered him a 2, if I'm being honest.
Nah, he's a 2. He's a 2.
I consider him just a lanky 3.
I think the problem is exactly what you're saying. Although you were hyperbolic, Jerry, but you were right. Like or you have to erase winning from the scenario, and this is why KD going to the Warriors was so bad.
Listen,
Because
Who's to say if LeBron didn't win chips in that era, right? Didn't beat the Warriors, that maybe he could have some legs to stand on. Maybe he would have retired already.
Probably,
Oof.
but he's chasing Kobe's
Oof.
ghost.
Maybe he would have retired already.
No. He's chasing maxing out everything other than rings.
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly.
The
So
only metric
therefore,
he can
maybe
get.
if he got some more, but because that team should not have existed. I don't care what anybody says.
I agree.
KD, Clay,
agree.
and Steph on the same team is ridiculous.
And Draymond.
And ridiculous, especially that first year. Ridiculous. So get them out the way. Let's see how great LeBron really is.
You know what?
You know what this anti-ring culture thing does? It excuses that decision by saying he was forced into that because of the narrative. Because he was so afraid of the narrative that he felt pressured to have to chase a ring, and so he did that. No, he ducked smoke.
Yes.
He wasn't pressured. Everyone's pressured to win a ring. That doesn't make you do that.
Thank you.
That doesn't make you do that.
Thank you.
You ducked smoke.
Thank you.
Kobe would never have gone and played for the Pistons.
Never.
Never in a
Kobe would never have gone and played for the Celtics.
You know, although talking about Gilbert Arenas,
for
though,
the Sixers, gone and played for the Pacers, gone and played for the Nets. What?
Gilbert Arenas did talk about
or
how
the Cavs or the Timberwolves.
Gilbert Arenas, when he tries to make this argument against what you're saying, he talks about how Kobe almost went to the Bulls. So what do you have to say to that?
No one was there.
Yeah, he wasn't going with it, but the
No
Bulls
one was
had
there.
no one.
He was gonna literally restart the culture. Literally restart the culture.
Because he said, I've heard him say that.
It's not changing teams in the box by itself. It's about what kind of team you go to, and like what kind of
No, not even what kind of team you go to, because I'm not even so mad at plugging yourself into a ready-made team. It's the fact that you had no qualms about the fact that they beat you.
Right.
Add that to it.
They beat you because you could argue that him at that time having gone to
join them.
You could argue that him at that time having gone to Chicago would have been creating a pretty crazy super team. You could argue that at that time him going to
the Clippers, he should have went to the Clippers. I say that all the time.
Would have still been a pretty crazy super team, right?
He should have went to the Clippers. They had
literally
no culture, no history, really.
That's what I'm saying. Like that part, him going to a stacked team, I'm not even that mad about that. It's really like there was nothing in your heart that wanted to beat those guys after they embarrassed you, coming back 3-1 against you. Like there was no competitive spirit in your heart that was like, I gotta get my lick back against those guys.
And since we're on the topic, this comment is facts. LeBron James should never wear a Lakers jersey. I'm sorry.
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
Really quick.
He should never wear a Lakers jersey. This is
why? You know what? But here's the thing. You know why I don't say that? And this goes back to like the credit I do give LeBron over KD. That was a service to the league.
You could have that somewhere else, man.
Where?
Go to the Clippers and make them great. Go win a chip with the Clippers.
That doesn't do anything for the league.
Yes, it does.
No,
Go to New York. Go to New York.
That would have been the other acceptable one.
LeBron.
Oh, LeBron.
Because we had a conversation.
For this last 8 stretch of his career, the league needed LeBron in a big market.
Don't go. Listen, you know what I thought you were gonna go with your rant? I thought you were gonna say that LeBron was like sneakily trying to.
No, he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that because he knows he can't, and he's never even tried, which I respect.
No. But you could make the argument that a lot of the things he's saying is trying to do on the low.
No.
It's hard to believe.
He never contextualizes it in franchise. He contextualizes it in the conversation of basketball. Whenever he is speaking in Laker context, he acknowledges what the fuck we're about. Every time he speaks publicly about his Laker intentions, he acknowledges what our franchise is about.
But you gotta understand though, it's bigger than just the Lakers now. This is the league, right? Kobe Bryant played for the Lakers, but
here's the difference. He's talking about the way people evaluating players should value championships. He's not attacking how important championships should be as a goal for a player.
Those are two different things. I'm bringing that up because I'm saying, since you're saying that is your number one goal, it's asinine to think that that shouldn't be the number one thing you're evaluated on. Why should I not evaluate you on the thing that you're supposed to care about the most? That's what I'm saying is stupid. But I've never questioned that LeBron cares about anything more than winning. I just don't like that because he has failed, he doesn't think we should care as much as he does about it.
I think I'm gonna say this, and then we y'all could go, and I'm done. I believe that he went to the Lakers because he knew that Kobe Bryant was next up on the all-time great list.
And so he was trying to do what?
Surpass Kobe by winning championships in the same jersey, but more. Because, like you said, he's still trying to win chips.
No, I don't think he was trying to surpass Kobe. I think it's actually like a subliminal. I think it's actually subservience to Kobe.
No,
I think no. Look, listen here. Look, here's how I go.
Nah.
Watch this. The thing that they're all complaining about that Kobe had, that none of them had, is scenario and backing, right? I think LeBron, in his mind, was like, the one thing I never had that Kobe had was being in a place and playing for a franchise like LA. So to bridge the gap, I don't think he was going there to erase Kobe from Laker memory. I think he was going there because I want the Laker boost too.
Nah, man. Listen to how that sounds.
How does what's crazy about that?
I want the Lakers boost too. That's Kobe's team, man.
No, but here's what I'm saying. In his mind, he's like, what Kobe did, in their view, like all these guys, they think Kobe's legacy is bolstered by the fact that, one, he did it in a Lakers jersey, and also because he was in the Lakers jersey, that's a lot of why he was able to do what he did, because of the Lakers. So I think if you feel like that, I feel like part of his player empowerment, I think in his mind, he truly was like, I've never had the chance to have that, and I'm going to go get that. We're not going to act like there isn't I'm going to put it this way. I don't think LeBron has the shine on his OG-ness he does now at 40 in the league if he stayed in Cleveland.
Ooh. He didn't have to stay in Cleveland. He just didn't. Yeah. I don't think he should have went to the Lakers.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is LeBron entering his twilight as a Laker adds weight to the position he holds right now.
I think the chip he won as well. At least he got one.
Well, you're not shit as Laker unless you win one. So that's already baked into it. Like, you have to go there and win. But that's my point. Him going to LA, winning a chip in LA, and being the torchbearer for the Los Angeles Lakers at the end of his career, also being who he is what adds to this. Him doing all these final accomplishments in a Laker jersey adds a sauce to it. And he knew that it would. And so he was like, if he was like, I'm definitely going to go there and try to win at least one more. And if that's all I do for the end of my career, the way I want to be looked at, I want Laker glaze. Think about it. It's actually sick. It's actually sick.
I don't think he was thinking like that.
It's like stat padding for admiration. Because think about all the glaze from a fandom perspective that's built in when you get the Laker Nation.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think he's thinking like that, though. You're on mute.
I think we lost him.
No.
His farewell tour wasn't going to look anything like it's about to look like if it wasn't in a Lakers jersey.
You think so?
He went there for a glaze.
I could listen. I think he went there thinking I'm going to win chips, and it didn't work out that way.
No, but I think it's baked in. I think he knew I think he knew to unlock the glaze, he had to win.
No. I'm not talking about one. I think he thought I'm going to go over here and win chips.
I think that's part of it too.
No, but now you're doing that. But to me, you do that on that team because you're trying to surpass who?
No, I think I'm okay. Not as a Laker though. You're not saying that, right?
I think he went there to be a Laker to surpass.
No, but he wasn't. I don't think he was trying to suppress Kobe in the Laker ranking. I think he was trying to win chips to surpass Kobe in the all-time ranking by winning more chips. Right. I don't think he went there like I'm gonna become the greatest Laker ever over.
He
Kobe.
can't do. He can't. Yeah, he knows.
That's okay. That's what I'm saying. I think no, you're right, and I'm.
That's still bad. That's still just as bad to me though.
No, I agree with you, but now we're in agreement. But I'm saying what is under that, right? I think he's like, if y'all care about rings, Kobe, they all basically feel like because Kobe was a Laker, he got spotted 3 rings. So I felt like LeBron was like, I got my 4. At the end of my career, if I want to be spotted some, I'm gonna go get the same boost that this guy got. Let me go to the Lakers, who are all about winning. I'm gonna slide me 2-3 more. And at the end of my career, I'm gonna be in a Laker jersey. I'm gonna get the same farewell tour he got, the same glaze he got.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
It changes nothing, Nomad. It changes nothing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when we talk about KD,
y'all don't understand how deep it is, bro. Y'all don't understand what it's like to have a 5-time champion you drafted, bro. Go ask someone that was born in San Francisco, bro.
San Antonio.
Like, it hits different, bro. It's not about just counting, right? Shaq has 3. It hits different. Magic and Kobe are here. Even Kareem, bro. Kareem has 6, but it hit different, bro. You're not technically ours, bro. Even though you put in like 16 years with us and got 5 of your 6th year, if you notice how these guys are treated, Magic is treated a little differently than Kareem is, bro.
It's a little different.
It hit different, bro.
You're right. But I think we've pretty much exhausted this topic. And Pharaoh, I think you went on a very passionate and well-spoken. I don't even want to call it a rant. It's more like a dissertation. Because these niggas really should be ashamed of themselves, honestly. But all that to be said,
thank y'all for hanging in with me while I did that. I appreciate you.
Yeah. All that to be said, what a hell of a season, boys. What a hell of a season.
The basketball season.
No, I'm talking about this season, Fast Breaks. But yes, also a basketball season.
It was a pretty good basketball season too. Not one of my favorites, but it had really exciting moments, and there was a lot of good basketball. There was more really good basketball I wanted to see that we didn't get to see. And I think that it's gonna be one of those kind of seasons for me where I look back and I was like, damn, like I feel like there was a lot of coulda, shoulda.
Bare injuries,
weird trades mid-season that like never really fully got together.
Coaches being fired.
Wild times. Yeah, there was a lot of coulda, shoulda.
It was a wild run.
That's the wildest part, honestly.
Yeah, it was a lot of.
I think the Luka trade was the wildest part.
No, oh yeah, well I forgot. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to a little more cohesion and stability next season.
Is it? It's late. I'm not going to ask y'all this. I was going to ask everybody's like off-season expectations for this team as like the last question. But
the Lakers are going to spend money and become a championship contender. What else do you want from me?
Word.
Duh.
Word.
Yeah, you're going to hire Taylor Jenkins and go to the finals.
Sorry. Let me take it back. The Lakers are going to spend money and go to the finals. See you there, Paul.
That'd
And
be really good.
And if that happens, season 3, we're out of here.
That'd be really
Crazy stuff.
That's what the NBA really needs, if you really want to talk about it.
Yeah, if it's not going to be Lakers Celtics, Lakers Knicks is probably the next best thing.
Yeah.
70. Yeah. Let's get that 73 chip again, bro.
Let's get it.
You don't feel gross having said that? 73?
That ass.
Listen. We don't listen.
Yeah,
listen.
he said 73.
Did the merger even happen yet? No.
Dr. J was still ABA.
What is this historical franchise nonsense then?
Man, you a Nets fan. Let's go.
Y'all the same as us.
Let's close this. Let's
y'all
close
the same as us.
Hey man.
You are
the same.
Let's back to New Jersey, man.
I've had enough.
You are the same exact franchise.
Y'all the same as us.
I've had enough.
How many picks y'all got?
Fast Breaks family.
We
got to get NBA ring before the merger.
All right, we were never there. We were never there.
The merger, it's the same thing.
Hey, listen, we're gonna.
To be fair though, Alan, y'all merged into where the Knicks already were.
Right.
They just kept the name. It's two. It was equal leagues that came one. They just kept the name.
Y'all went to New Jersey.
Like
you were the New York. Thing. First of all, y'all were the New York Nets. All right.
Blame Jay-Z for us moving up there. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
I'm not mad.
Jay-Z.
Listen,
I'm not mad because now I get to
see
for you,
the
New York Liberty win 2 championships back to back, and that's how I'm ending season 3. Tap in with me at Barclays. You know what it is. Light it up, Big Ellie. You heard?
Whoa. Remember, Fast Breaks family. Though this is our season finale, this is not necessarily the end of our season. Please see us on Twitch over the off season. See what we getting into. And we will see y'all for season 3.
Runs or we run the rec coming to you tonight.
Follow us on all socials. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be in the comments. Follow us on all socials. YouTube, IG, all that. Subscribe. Hit the button to subscribe. Well, we never say that. But hit the button
comments,
to subscribe.
I'm gonna be better about next season. Bigger intros, new intro video, more buttons, better like, comment, subscribe, commentary. Better fan interaction. It's all gonna get bigger and better. You know what it is. Holla at your boy. You heard? Deuces.
Come on. It's Fastbreaks. Listen. Back with another one.
Fast breaks, yeah, we coming with the takes. Never early, never late, but we always push the pace, yeah. And we really study tape, y'all just view the highlights. Man, we really watching games, yeah. You just watch from the stands. We run 3-man weeks, Paul, Dre, and Allen, yeah. Way more than a fan. We got love for the game. We don't have to pretend. Got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. I'm the run the fast break. Throw me the outlet. Yeah, we got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. Time to run the fast break. Throw me the outlet.